Not so good overnight. Crude oil wild, up first, now negative on the pre-market session. Futures for equities also initially downside, now back to basically flat. This is actually crude oil. I wanted to show a daily chart here because this has the 24-hour session included in it. We get as high as 85.60 in the overnight session there. If you zoom in, you can see it better. That wick actually traded overnight, now red on the morning here for oil. So energy stocks could be a little bit active, to say the least, here this morning. There's Apple basically flat. Nothing doing as far as big tech is concerned. We'll touch on Netflix, obviously coming off earnings last night. The report itself pretty monstrous, but the forecast a little lighter than most expected, though. There's the Qs on the weekly chart. Big ugly red candle. Here's the SPY, big ugly red candle, making it 3 in a row to the downside. The Dow 3 in a row as well to the downside as this pullback continues. So, yeah, coming in, it seemed like it could have been a lot worse, but here we are, as I mentioned, back to basically flat to start things off.
Yeah. When I woke up this morning, I saw more belligerencies. I was worried, but it looks like the market's recovering a little bit. Lots to talk about. Tesla has a bit of an issue with the pedal on the Cybertruck. It's getting caught under
the carpet issue.
I don't know what to say, Brendo. It's getting caught under the accelerator. I was going to say the gas, but it's obviously not the gas here. And it's causing problems having the car accelerate itself. Apparently, you can hit the brake and dislodge that whole thing. Meta also unfocused because China looking to remove the WhatsApp from the App Store. They're not like people were really using it openly. You have to use the VPN, right?
Yeah.
So tough look.
Yeah, not much of a reaction on that headline, it seems, for Meta this morning, but we'll have a look at both Apple and Meta coming up here. But yeah, there's the Dow, as I mentioned. Yeah, Netflix, pretty interesting. I was reading this morning, the biggest net subscriber gain since 2020.
Yet it goes down.
In a quarter, but the forecast has this thing downside this morning. It's all the way down here on the weekly chart. So coming into big time levels once again, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody. But happy market recovery. Like, seriously? Geopolitical news. When geopolitical news meets thin markets in the overnight, you can get stuff like that. And then the fact that we actually, it's not a small recovery back. We tagged green on the NASDAQ and we're 0.08 to the downside. So I think that's actually a pretty big reversal. That said, Netflix earnings are bad. Tesla's back under 150, doesn't look good. ARM got a downgrade, is testing 100. The chips all have, most of them, I should say, at least everyone I looked at has some resistance levels that I'm looking like for some short trades. That said, DJT's up 8% if you're into it, and really? Reddit has a chance to break out. So there's going to be a heck of a lot to lean into, and then the halving is less than a day away.
Yeah, tomorrow at some
point.
point.
Tomorrow it's, you know what, I don't know the exact timing of it. I think is it like right away? I don't know. It doesn't,
who knows? I don't know nothing.
It doesn't, either way, the halving's coming in, so Bitcoin's back above 65,000.
Yeah.
That's the more important point for us today, back above 65K.
Last night when I was getting ready for bed here, we retweeted this, and thank you for 8,000 views, really nice, 15 comments. I mean, you know, the NASDAQ was down 2% right here. Those are the futures last night. You know, the Russell down 2.1%. You know, we already talked a little bit there about what oil's move was. The Dow 1.3. Like, you know, we were starting to get, you know, some movement. So I feel like if you're some kind of a bull today, coming in here, opening your eyes and seeing up, after that response from Israel, that's strange. You can never really understand what the market is going to do on any given day based on any sort of an event. I was listening to a podcast, which ours is out, by the way. Where is that? Oh, no, my stream deck's not open. Oh, no. Ours is tomorrow. There she goes. Man, she's the best over there.
Is it twice?
The day after JFK's assassination, the market was up 4.5%. Yeah, it's just there's weird things about
the Ukraine invasion was a similar thing too. Like it was.
Yeah, and they were talking about Syria a while back, and that should have, people were so negative about that, Gulf War and everything, and it's just like what? So I don't know. For me, I don't I don't feel super comfortable about everything, but you know, the market's giving a little bit of a reprieve today. We'll see. The thing is, the market has opened up, I believe, at least on the ES, you know, close to up pretty much every day, and then it finds its way down. We're now in the spiders or the S&P, because yesterday we were red. Let me just see what the tick was yesterday. It's 5 straight. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 straight red days. So again, extending the largest streak. And I don't know if we're getting ready to bounce or not. You talked about Tesla, or we all talked about Tesla there off the open. They haven't even reported yet. At least there's a nice little bounce back up here, though. That's nice to see. Okay, good. All right, so we are getting, guys, over there on the desk, we are getting a lot of recovery here in some names. So maybe this isn't the, you know, the big red day that maybe some of us expected.
Yeah, highest day for the VIX yesterday. Thank you, Ramin. Ramin is solo today, so we have to
gotta
give her credit. Fabian with the day off today. So yeah, it was the highest day for the VIX in 3 months. So volatility back in play a little bit here across the board. We'll touch on a few things here. I was just double checking AXP, the earnings call, 8:30. So there is some comments coming through right now. But could be just getting going here for American Express. One of few, I guess, that have reported so far and are up a little bit anyways in the pre-market here. But that's a daily chart for American Express. I mean, this thing looks great. Right now.
Does. I mean, like, look, it's a bit, not Discovery, obviously. It's a bit of a higher end credit card. Look, their wealthy customers are helping propel the stock higher, and that's the focus of this article here. Premium customers help it surpass profit expectations. Amount of spending increased 7% year over year, despite the fact that they increased their loan loss provisions from 1.1 billion to 1.3. So a bit of a disparity here. People continuing to spend more, yet more losses expected. Q1 revenue over 15.8 billion. Brendo, they did really well here.
Yeah, I had a graph of credit card debt in the U.S. that I'm going to try and find again, but it was floating around still, basically at the highs for ongoing debt, anyways, for credit cards. Do you have an American Express?
I do. Remember the whole story about Hawaii?
Right. Yeah, I remember that. I do as well, but it's my secondary credit card. It's not the primary one I use, but yeah, clearly not the case around the board here, guys. American Express looking really good.
Why the subtle diss at Discovery at the beginning is what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, not everybody can have a black card, Sharif. There's regular people out here too. I'm just saying, it's like it's a high-end card. It's not.
Why you go to me when you say black card there, Ramin? Well, you try to blow up my spot?
Oh, Ramin. It's going to be a fun one today. No, all jokes aside, you guys were talking about credit card debt on the podcast, and I think there are some concerns there. The weird thing about it is, because of those concerns, you've seen some signs that maybe there's a little bit of weakness. It's weirded me out that how strong a firm has been in light of some of the things that we've seen, but that's another story. The issue with trying to trade AXP today on earnings is A, not always the best trade on earnings, and B, if you just look at this on the daily chart, I can't remember the last time I actually saw something like this, where you had this kind of a consolidation, and then you report earnings, and you're still right here.
Right.
Like it's just weird. I mean, come on. Like the markets, you see something new every single day, but that's just a little bit bizarre. Like, and it actually did move. Like there was a big up and down, and it's just settling right back in at the same level. Which would be that would be fine if the stock was so liquid that it's something you would scalp inside of a range. It's not. So that makes it pretty untradeable there. You know, obviously you did have a couple of signs that the economy could be slowing down starting earnings season. The first one was with JB Hunt, and I don't know that we got anything overwhelming here that could tell you it's doom and gloom, but you're starting to see a few cracks. That said, it doesn't seem to matter because everyone thinks you're not going to be cutting rates until next year anyways. So this is going to be a stay away for me. It's bizarre to me how it could report and then stay in exactly the same price range as it's been for an entire week. And it even went up and down like $10, but yeah, I'll stay away from that.
Yeah, the credit cards have been working for a minute here, and I think that this report, although it did get down into that 212 area, now back to flat on the day for AXP. I want to buy banks, I think. If anything, JP Morgan, a great move back into 180. I mean, I think that that's take advantage of that. Losing 20 points on that report seemed to be not right on that one. I do like Charles Schwab as well as an asset manager here. I mean, their report was really great. For some reason, on their earnings day, you wicked into the 50 period. This bank does not look like the others, man. Well, I mean, not a bank, but, well, we don't have Schwab here. Up into $80, $82. I think that is a good area, to get where Charles Schwab could possibly go before you get out of that. Looking like it wants to break out now. Their earnings report wicked down, bought right back up, right into an area here, 74 breakout. There's a lot of good opportunities in the space right now if you're looking for financials. So Visa, again, I'm not sure when these guys report, but they're already getting hit to the downside. So if you think that there's some strength here today on American Express, this could be another name that you want to look at right here with Visa. So Visa, MasterCard, maybe catching some tailwinds. They're already beat down below the 50-period moving average. This is an opportunity here for Visa. We like the space, but I won't be trading any of these names. The banks, yes, but probably not AXP or Visa. But, American Express is at least a little bit of a, catalyst there today, but not much volume. I mean, when the chart looks like this with 96,000 shares, it's like,
wow.
Right, like down here, like I said, it went to 212. It was probably like 200 shares or something. So,
be that guy.
Anyways, all right, yeah. All the focus today, I think, is going to be on big tech names and oil names. So let's continue with the story here. Just saw Google got an upgrade here, maintained
DJT.
from Jeffries. And then you're all about DJT.
No, I'm not all about DJT.
No, but I think you traded it a couple days ago. Did you?
Well, I had one trade yesterday in DJT, and it looked. See, it always looks really good at the time when you break out. Like I had this breakout in DJT to here, and it looked pretty good then. And then the stock just went Captain Insano on everybody, and up another 9%. I already said I don't like chasing this thing. I just feel like there's going to be another one of these types of trend down moments, I do feel like, but good luck predicting when it would be. The last time it had a sideways day. The good thing about not a lot of trade data is you can see on a daily chart or in a 15 pretty easily the levels to be concerned with. So it gets to like $38. You got like one green day kind of sandwiched in there. Yeah. And then if you break out from there, you got to wait till like 50. So I don't really have a breakout trade there, but I do think Reddit does have an opportunity at that 42 and a quarter area. But yeah, I think you can't be focused on AXP as a short-term trader when there's other things to trade. Like, do I like Affirm better as a company than American Express? No. But which one am I going to day trade? That's like the easiest answer possible. You're going to day trade Affirm, 100 times before I trade AXP once.
All right, a few things to know. Here's this, first off, here's this graphic I was talking about with the credit card debt still. This is 30 days past due, so basically at highs still. But if you go out a little bit further, we are starting to see some positive movement here. 30 to 60 days starting to roll over a little bit. 60 to 90 days starting to roll over a little bit. 90 days plus, unfortunately, still at the highs as well. So that was the graphic that I was thinking about. We're going to have Chris Farley from Trade Ideas come through. Ramin, let me know when he's good to go. And we'll wrap up the week, which, I mean, going into, next week is going to be another week where there's not a heck of a lot to look forward to in the way of economic data. We do get PCE. It's all the way out on Friday. The week after that, obviously, the Fed going to be the big one.
Yeah, and kind of been telegraphed already what to expect from that, Brendo, as we had Jerome Powell meet with Tiff Macklem, the Bank of Canada governor, earlier this week, and he made no bones about the fact that they don't like the recent data, especially the elevated levels of inflation, the stickiness of the inflation, so widely expected to remain the same. And you and I were talking earlier this week. You were telling me about a possible rate hike coming up. So a bit of a tougher look there. We'll have to wait and see exactly what we get. But with respect to the credit card debt, you and I were also talking off camera about a firm, and Neil brought up a firm, and I was telling you that we were looking at a checkout online, and now a firm's charging interest.
Yeah.
So whereas before they were interest-free, now it's ranging 5 to 15%. So some of these other companies as well looking to get some revenue the other way.
It's interesting, the insight into that side of the business for a Square or Block or a firm like that. If we are set, Ms. Ramin, we are not. So when we are, we will bring in, again, Chris Farley going to join us from Trade Ideas to wrap up. I mean, the pullback continues here, guys. What else can we say for the overall market?
Pullback.
So,
Well,
no, I was just going to, so I'm writing this, right now, and I just don't know, and it was kind of like when you said, like, pullback, like that, like, it's kind of, I'm thinking the same thing. I want to wait until we get some confirmation of what this move is going to be, because, I mean, I have the chart, I know Ramin's a little bit busy here, but yeah, just keep it on here for a minute. Me and Neil can even just talk to this.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's just kind of like you've come into some levels here that we've talked about this. I mentioned this 17.4 again when we were up here, breaking this level, that this could be a possible bounce spot. So, we bounced off there. And now I think the news is not great. We've talked about that. I think Netflix is down on earnings here. AXP is down. Most of the banks are down. I'm not super excited about big tech earnings coming next week. Plus, we get now into the weekend where we're going to have more potential issues, unfortunately, in the Middle East and with Israel, Iran. I mean, Russia, Ukraine is still hanging around. There's still some China worries, I feel like, with their economy. Could be bad news out of there as well.
Blinken lands like next week in China.
Yeah, so, I mean, Jerome Powell and Tiff are having some beers somewhere, watching some hockey. I just think that, this move coming in, it could not be, it's possibly not over. So I just think we could break this 17.4, and then if we do, then, 17 makes sense to me at that point. That's only 400, 500 handles now, but we're getting a move back up. So I don't want to be super short into what could be a rally as well. So my thought initially here is let the market settle down, show us some kind of a top. Like if it was 9:30 and this happened, I would hopefully not get involved here. Wait till we see some kind of a top and then prefer the short. So I've got the sticky note going. It's all going to be bearish ideas on there, and that's the way I want to play today. So I don't know what your opinion was there.
I had one long on my note. Actually, 1.5. One of them was if Reddit can break out, but then again, a breakout trade, if it breaks, it breaks. If it doesn't, what are you going to do? Like, you sit around, do nothing. And then the other one was, like, I still like, Rivian's failed $9 a couple times, so it's a stock. I like the level. It basically broke this 2 days in a row. 9? It went 9 to 9.
It's up there again.
Went 9 to like 901 or something, and then flushed. Then it went 9 yesterday to 908 or 909, and then flushed. So to me, it's like it's a short underneath, it's a short at 9, maybe you give it to 910. That said, it's got a decent short float, so if it were to break out above 910, I would probably look for a long there. But those are squeeze-ish type names that have nothing to do with the market. Like, the market could go down and Reddit could still squeeze up, right? Like, you look at DJT yesterday.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. So I'm still thinking short. I don't disagree with anything there. That said,
I do have one long.
You got to pick the spot. You got to pick spots.
Right.
Because I still like, like Tesla's been trading down and trending down. ARM broke a monster flat bottom yesterday. 2 days ago. 2 days ago was the flat bottom break at 120, and then yesterday was kind of like tried to collect itself at the open and then flushed under the previous close. So it tried to rebound to go green and then flushed down. Now you get a downgrade and you're down again. You're testing 100. It's actually at 100 right now. So you're actually at 100 right now on ARM. And this is the thing.
I want to short it.
You got to pick your spots. So it's not just that I would short anything. Like, I don't have like Meta on the list to go short. I don't have Microsoft or Amazon, but you got to pick your spots, and some of the chip names have shown you some weakness in light of back-to-back disappointing reactions with both ASML and TSM. It's hard to ignore that when you're looking at the chips. And then next week, Intel reports, and if you think they're going to have a good report, then you also probably think the Blue Jays offense has no issues, or that the Raptors are in the playoffs.
Did they lose again, the Blue Jays?
Oh no, it's not that.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna make.
They're so disappointing because they have those bats. That's
because the
thing.
team it's high quality and the
I know.
talent is there and they're not.
I know
but that's intel. Like everything is laid out for them. The government money is there. The opportunity for domestic chip fab to take away from it's a Samsung and TSM is there and it's desired by everybody. They have the capability. They have the money to do it. They actually just have to execute, which they've been failing to do for a bit. So it's not dissimilar from like a disappointing sports team that has all the pieces.
Yes.
I like sports analogies if you can't tell.
Oh man, this guy. What's up, Sean? I've never seen a name spelled like this before.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Sean, S-H-O-N. What's up, Sean Blotzer?
I've seen it with 2 N's.
He says, "Post the sticky note. Post the note." All right, we will. Will I still short Tesla? Never heard of that. I was just looking at the sticky notes. I think I have Tesla short on there for like the last month or something like that. So if you're guessing is Tesla short on the sticky note, then you, my friend, are an early chicken dinner winner. All right. Are we ready with Mr. Varley yet? All right. Yeah, I mean, we can just continue on, or I just don't want to get into some of these names that I know are going to be on the list, but it should be okay today. We do have, you know what's really settled down? IPOs. We had that CTRI the other day.
It's not a lot.
You know what was planning on IPOing, and this is a spoiler alert for, once again, the podcast, when I asked Brendan about this, possibly bringing StubHub to market soon. So, I mean, with all these experiences, we've seen some controversy with Live Nation lately. All these tickets going absolutely insane with Taylor Swift, like bringing in more money than the GDP of like 90% of countries out there on her latest tour. I think StubHub could be interesting. First, an eBay name, spun off, bought for $300 million, I think it was in 2011. Then most recently bought again in 2020 for $2 billion, I believe it was, and then now looking to get $16 billion valuation on.
I think the
IPOs
timing
have been bad though.
I just do. I feel like it's like, how are they not getting them in right now? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like get them in. Like I would have. Reddit came. I think they managed to get that one out there before the market started tapering off a little bit. That's generally what you'll see. But there wasn't, like, as we were at the height of this bull run, there wasn't the pickup that you would usually see. That's exactly when people try to get the valuations. And I think that's the explanation for this DXYZ, is that the IPOs is the exit strategy. It's not necessarily the first thing people are looking for anymore. Now companies are more mature and they're hanging out private for a heck of a lot longer. And I'd like, look, kudos for Destiny to be smart enough to pull this, to do what they did with this DXYZ. It is Destiny, right? I want to make sure I got it right. Yeah, it's Destiny.
Yeah. That ETF.
Yeah, so kudos to them for pulling it off. That said, like, this sucker is trading at 8 or, depending on how you want to value it, 5 to 8 times or something like that, the actual value of the holdings in the private market. So there's clearly some inflation. I guarantee you when StubHub comes to market, we're all going to scoff at the price it opens at.
Yep.
And then maybe we'll take the opening print anyways, but that's just part of it. Actually, looking at this, oh man, if this breaks $28 down.
When?
Well, I mean, I was talking about today. There's no
yeah.
guarantee that it would, but like if this breaks 28, like this will bottom.
What is the price right now?
Right now it's at $31.
It's breaking 28 today.
So 20, that's 29, but the 28 level looks like the big one. I think if this were to lose a major support level, you got to have that short. So I'm going to pay for some locates on this. I didn't even realize it. Look at it consolidate that bottom. See? We weren't planning on talking about it. All of a sudden, you bring up StubHub, and we're going to go pay for some shorts in DXYZ.
Yeah, we have a lot of capabilities. Look, I think we are going to be ready, but just come to my screen quickly before we go over there. I just want to show one thing here. Look at the resiliency of Bitcoin. Maybe Bitcoin right now, in some uncertainty times here, economically, worldwide, everything like that. I know we have the halving coming up, but I just want to bring it up that Bitcoin right now up nicely, 4 or 5%. We are now ready, so let's go over to the desk.
his patience. We had a little audio issue there. Chris Farley from Trade Ideas back with us to wrap up the week here. Chris, it's been an eventful one, to say the least, not only for equities, but as we were saying, wild future session overnight with these geopolitical headlines coming out. What are you looking at today?
So it's funny when I went to sit down and do something, I said, how am I going to follow up last week? I felt really good about everything we did. And then I hadn't looked at the futures for a while. And I was at a softball practice with the kids, and I came home and I'm like, wow, all right, well, that kind of trips up what I was thinking about doing, talking about stocks that may be still relatively strong as we move into a Friday session where we didn't really sell off on the week where like we could have. And then, of course, I wake up this morning and we're near flat. And now the SPY, I believe, is even has looked positive back and forth here the last few moments. So all the same, I thought, let's look at some anchored VWAP areas. We'll look at the overall market first, a few different indices, and then a couple of stocks that are interesting to look at. And one of them, we'll jump to the chart in a moment. But, Sean was just talking about Bitcoin and coin being one of those charts. And I thought we look at a few different stocks that represent a few different areas of the market as well as the economy also. So like you said, just a wild session there.
Yeah, when it comes to individual names here, I mean, we're going to get into some of the biggest names coming up next week. Talk a little bit about a few that you have here. I mean, I see you have lows coming into some interesting levels, along with the overall market, as we said. If you go back to the beginning of the year, we've done nothing but go straight up, even since the end of last year. So a much needed pullback continuing here.
Without a question, and this is where I think for someone like myself anyways, it's really important to just stay with the technicals. We have no control over the news, the headlines, or anything else like that. And so we can really look at nice if-then scenarios. So, the first chart up there is the diamonds representing the Dow. And what I've done is drawn AVWAPs from the October lows and year-to-date start. And we can see, we're pinned right in between there. And it really becomes that kind of no man's land where it's tough to find that edge, and where patience is just so important. We pull onto the Qs next. It's same thing there. We've just broken down on the year-to-date AVWAP on the on the Qs, but we haven't quite touched down to that low from October's. So, it doesn't seem unreasonable that we continue to pull back a little bit. And, I hate to say we're due for a pullback. We're never due for anything. The market could stay irrational longer than any one of us can stay solvent, of course, as the saying goes. We could move on through into some of those individual stocks if you wanted to look at. So, there's lows. So, just really trying to find through the AVWAP scans that Michael had created here, some stocks that if we turn lower, they're going to break down and maybe provide that short opportunity. And you could stay the same course with that if we don't end up breaking down, if the SPY decides to hold that 500 level, if the Qs can bounce back above the year-to-date AVWAP, then maybe there's just some areas that we want to look strong. Toll Brothers, another one. I feel like it's a good look at the economy in the sense of the housing market, right? These are going to be your housing startups, new builds. The same kind of thing here. Everybody's spooked. People start, hunkering down. They're not going to sell houses. They're not going to move houses. They're not going to build houses. These are the areas that I'd be looking at. And then, jump to coin here. I was also shocked this morning when I got up around 5 a.m. Eastern and I looked at Bitcoin, and I thought, if we were going to break down below any key levels here, that this might have been the one, and it didn't. It really held resilient. So coin might be one of those ones that we look at as some possible relative strength here. Again, it's fighting with that year-to-date AVWAP there, coming from that scan that Michael had created. And then last but not least, Valero. Energy. I mean, was there a bigger darling than energy over the last couple of months here? And like everything else, there's nobody safe from the sell-off that's really gone on recently. Valero more of a refiner than anything else, but all the same, look at that deep pullback right into there. So those are the things that I'm looking at right now going forward. And I just feel like those couple of stocks give you an overall good look between tech and goods.
Interesting looking charts across the board, all very strong, all deep within this pullback at this point. One thing I kind of picked out on all of those as we went through them was, yes, the market's moving lower, yes, these individual names are moving lower, but they all seem to be kind of doing this on relatively light volume. So if you go back to the beginning of the year, the up volume was much more than the down.
Yeah, and it's it's one of those sell-offs. I feel like it's almost, for lack of a better term, orderly. I don't feel like there's any panic or chaos or anybody, sometimes you're like, it feels like everybody's got their finger on a button ready to like just sell. And I don't feel that in the market. That doesn't mean it's not necessarily there, but it just doesn't have that capitulation feeling to it where here we go, this is going to be the big one. We're going to see that, 1,000-point swing on the Dow or something like that.
Mr. Varley, have a wonderful weekend. We appreciate you once again jumping on, filling in for Michael Noss. We'll touch base again next week.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you, folks. Have a wonderful weekend.
Take care.
Yeah, big thanks to you there, Chris. And you look at something like, specifically that Coinbase, right? Like we're just above 65,000. We're kind of back and forth between that number on Bitcoin. But you look at that Coinbase, and for 3 days in a row, as it's making this consolidation, I was of the mind, and usually that's kind of how I am, that resistance was a good place to short. And you really have had to wait for it to get into 225, the top end of that range. Every time it tests the high, you kind of let it break it and go. And it did the similar thing before pulling back yesterday. But suddenly, it's like you had a double bottom, you close higher low, the higher low holds its support, you gap up again, suddenly you do have this wedge into a breakout above this 65. And as I look over, I'm looking over at BTC spot prices, it's literally like 65.06, and then you go like 64.95, so you're back and forth at 65. If it holds it for good, I wouldn't see why that's not a breakout trade today, with a pretty sizable gap to be filled in. The caveat I would put is, I'm not canceling these lines, because if we get above 250, I know what I'm looking to do. I just don't think that's going to be something today. I mean, let's be real. If I am shorting Coinbase above 250 today, then I don't know. Like, I'll drop and give you 20. It's not like Coinbase is not going another 10%, but maybe next week that's the kind of level we can get into, especially if that 65,000 holds, you get back into 70,000, those things can definitely happen. Easy Trader, appreciate you. My barber was on point, and you know what? He didn't even ask me about Tesla, so.
That's a win.
Well, what's interesting is my barber always asks me about two things. It's like we always talk about crypto or Tesla, or I try to shift the conversation to like the Qs, or like any chip names, or it's just other things that he could be looking at. But yesterday there's like a local court case that's happening here in Toronto that has captured the news. That was all the barbershop talk, and no one was talking about anything else. But usually there's a lot of crypto and
What was the story?
No, it's the
gold?
No, the guy that ran over the cop. In that court case.
The older story. It's an older story.
Yeah, but the trial's right now. It's an older story here.
They caught.
It's local to Toronto. That's the thing. It's not really national.
They caught like those 7 or 8 guys that robbed the gold.
The gold heist.
That's what I thought you were meaning.
One of them's from my hometown.
$20 million or something.
Yeah, but they had these guys. They robbed a gold truck from Pearson Airport.
Your hometown.
And they had these
Brampton?
guys. One of the guys from Brampton.
I thought they're all from Brampton.
I caught the report that the one guy was driving. Okay, fine, they're all. But they had the guy They had the guy in the truck. They had him like they were tracking him. Like it was like an episode of 24 because they had all the different camera angles. So just a matter of time when you get caught for something like that. But I guess this was a long time they managed to get away with it. So
yeah. I mean, the main guy was like posting stuff on his Instagram, like the guy's balling out of control. He's like sitting first class.
They had a moment.
Yeah, he had a moment. Yeah, and you know what? I mean, we're not supposed to get too political, but, who knows how much time these guys might eventually serve, So, oh, man. Yeah. I'm not going to resort to bank robbery or anything like that, but that seems like quite a life for a couple years. We'll see how many they do, if any at all. But fun times. It's always fun when you get like real life bank robbery or like heists like that. Like it only happens in movies.
It's a movie, yeah.
You know, and then like all of a sudden you turn on the news, it's like, oh, $300 million worth of gold bars stolen from the airport. You're like, what?
It was like an Ocean's 11 type heist.
And it might not have been that much. I don't even know.
I don't know how much it was, but that's what was cool about it. It was like, no one gets hurt. It was one of those.
Yeah, it was like
I don't want to call it. I'm not calling it a good heist, but let's be real. Like it's a lot better. No, but it's a lot better than the alternative. Like someone goes in like guns blazing. But let's get back to the markets here for a second. There's something on.
Yeah, I just hearing something about SMCI. Is the market doing anything here? Oh, third quarter fiscal earnings on April. No, that's April 30th. All right. Did they just announce when they were? So the only thing that I have on Benzinga here.
That's $50 pretty quick.
Yeah, it's like it just says they're going to announce their earnings on Tuesday, April 30th. That doesn't, okay, does that, I don't know. Oh no, they're going to report their earnings. Let's get the hell out immediately. No, I don't know what's going on with that.
Well,
but anyways, SMCI right now down, Brendan, 5% immediately right now. Back to
All right, let's get into everything we need to know here heading towards the open. As always, Sharif going to kick us off with a look at the market.
50.49, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday, but we're trading below that right now. Look at that dip overnight, breaking 5,000 aggressively into that 49 and 2/3 category. We've since retraced that. We're trying to break the overnight close right now at 50.50. Let's say if we do reclaim that overnight close, we'll see possibly resistance at 5,100. If we really give up the ghost here, let's look for support at 5,000.
Yeah, that dip low, you were saying almost 7% in the overnight session there for the futures off the highs. So flirting with correction territory. Let's talk about the watch list. If you haven't done so, grab that. It's free. Go to the website, tradertv.live. You'll see a pop-up. Enter your email. That's it. Done. Let's talk Netflix here. The quarter itself, monstrous for Netflix. We end up lower here. We're actually just sitting right now at that post-market low from yesterday. I was reading this morning, as I mentioned early on, the biggest net subscriber add in a quarter since 2020 for Netflix. Pretty impressive.
And the price action has been equally as impressive, Brendo, as this thing has been skyrocketing up 27% year to date before the overnight correction. Let's talk about how they did. They beat easily on the top and bottom lines. Net income, $2.33 billion. That's take-home money. Revenue, $9.33 billion in terms of how much money they generated. Guidance, they're looking at generating about $9.5 billion next quarter, but here's the kicker. They're no longer going to report the quarterly sub ads. They say, we're past that now. When we weren't profitable, this was kind of a sign of our growth, of how much we were growing. Now we're profitable. Now we're growing our revenue exponentially. We're no longer going to give you these data points.
Yeah, we'll see if we can hold here right now, guys. But yeah, a little bit of volume even coming in at the lows right now.
Yeah, so it ended up being pretty much the expected move. It was like 7.5 or something like that if you looked at the absolute bottom in the aftermarket. But the range was 12.5% up and down because somebody got early on it and hit it all the way up to 640, the actual 52-week high. I don't know if this is going to be a trade for me. Every time they report, we never trade Netflix because it's usually a bamboozling type day. The support is there on the daily at 550, and then you've got yesterday, the afternoon or the overnight bottom at 565. It wasn't, like you said, the report was pretty good. The concern would be you're not reporting those numbers. Maybe the advertising is not going as well as you think, and most of what was good is in that password sharing crackdown. So I guess that would be the concern. But you know what? The number is going to bear it out. I mean, their cash position looks pretty good. Like everything else looks pretty good. I think there is going to be a solid bounce. I'm not going to guess that it will be today. Disney, which is only down on sympathy. This was the one that I kind of felt would be like the go zone if Netflix could have just been flat. So unfortunately, my plan of action on Disney was if Disney holds 113 on Netflix earnings, I think it can break it out or at least go long off the 113. So I'm going to sit this one out, but if the market continues this move and Disney can go green and Netflix does recover, I'd much rather play the sympathy play with the established range where you have like above 113, you got a couple of bucks to resistance. But with the market weakness and with Netflix down, I'm going to have to stick a fork in the Disney idea for now.
Yeah. The only level that I could see here for Netflix is right here. I mean, it's 560, and I think we are going to get to that level, and we could even break 550 today. And it has nothing to do with the company, honestly. I mean, obviously the report is not the greatest, but it wasn't bad. Like the results, Sharif just read them all off. Everything was fine, everything was fine. Like NVIDIA is starting to go here. Supermicro's trying to go a little bit lower here. The market, as we've tweeted out, the sticky note is out. When the market was green and going higher, I was like, okay, we just definitely want to fade this. And then so I'm just a little bit, I told you I was nervous about all these levels breaking. We saw the same thing happen with JP Morgan where it hovered around 200, broke down, you know, now down 20 points, down 10%, down a little bit more, 12, 13% for JP Morgan on what I thought was a decent report as well. So if this is the same kind of thing, I think we have a similar move left. I think you want to get these things washed down around 15 to 20% maybe because this is I don't know. I mean, again, they're getting rid of the numbers because they don't want to be that growth aspect. But Netflix, we are still looking for growth. We're still looking for sub growth. You're still looking for margin increasing as they can figure out ways to distribute their content more efficiently. You want to see margins go up. So I feel like this at least gets to 550. That's the flush. And then you react the day or two after that happens because we could gap fill. We dropped Anchor VWAP on this. And again, shout out to Danielle Shea. She traded some butterflies on this. We talked about that yesterday on the show. And again, thank you to everybody for watching with us last night. That was a lot of fun. We always have fun when Danielle comes on. But if you're going to go over to a daily chart here for Netflix, let me just show you where this anchor is. And then if you drop this, shout out to my good friend Brian Shannon as well, you drop this right at the October bottom, which we've done before on many different names. This is the purple line. This is the anchored VWAP lining up exactly with 500 bucks. And then if you also drop it right here at its gap high, you're going to get 579 if I drop it properly or if it even goes. There it goes. So there it is right there, see? So we did this work yesterday for you guys. There's 579. So that could be a level that you might look to fade if we pop back up. 580 or so. Right now you're at 570. Get up to 580. That's the anchored VWAP. If we could stay underneath that from this gap, then I think we're going to be okay. So that's what you look for when you're talking about anchored VWAPs and some possible support areas. That's a little bit of work there on Netflix.
All right, let's touch on Tesla here. Moving back to the upside, currently coming off this headline this morning. It's a carpet problem, it would appear, anyways, for the Cybertruck. I mean, this is not a big deal. 3,800 going to be recalled. There's only been 3,800 deliveries to date. So, yep, that's all of them. Potentially the go pedal can get stuck.
I got to give you a tip of the hat there on the title that you chose there. Cyber carpet. I love it. All right, here's what's happening. So the accelerator pedal pad is getting stuck under the accelerator and is causing the car or the truck to accelerate without the driver intending to. However, if you own one of these, all you got to do is hit the brake and apparently it disconnects the accelerator. Elon took to Twitter saying that he doesn't know any accidents that have happened as a result of this, and that they're just, they're repairing these out of an abundance of caution. A bit of a tougher look for a newer truck, though.
Yeah, 150 was the big level. If you zoom out on a higher time frame, that came and went in the aftermarket. Here we are potentially testing it from below now, guys.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. I mean, testing it from underneath that 150 level. We closed, I mean, essentially at 150, 149.93. And you had the 152 top in there. Like, I would actually call the 150 breakdown, it was kind of a failed break because the recovery went further than the move went down. So, like, you took the break, it actually gave you a dollar change if you just had it, and got out right away. But coming back in, it's not good news. The 150 level, I think that's worth the shot at the open. I'm sitting at the higher level at 52, and then already mentioned this Oh, you just said NVIDIA, sorry.
NVIDIA's getting killed. Yeah.
And then the other thing was at Rivian, $9. So those are the two that I'm going to be watching. But yeah, the story is this SMCI, which it's a bit weird to me because I pulled up Trade Ideas and it said SMCI reports on the 30th, and then the reason for the SMCI drop is they announced their reporting on the 30th. So again, that's a bit bizarre to me. But NVIDIA's down $15 on this. SMCI you already saw get hit. ARM is already testing $100. So that could happen right at the open with the 100 break and probably due to SMCI there. But Tesla, I'll short the pop. If it's above 152 and breaking out, fair enough. Then the 150 level has now held, but not till then.
Yeah, same way. I mean, we have it as trade idea number 1 today. It's going to be, there it is. Be patient, be confident, be calm. Okay, everybody? But here it is right here. Tesla short 152. It's on the sticky note. It's right here. I like it. We've been short this name for what seems to be all month. Now we get some bad Cybertruck negativity and we get under 150. Stay and get short until we take that high. I mean, I think it's a pretty simple thing here. We're going to try to stay short. We got Meta on there as well. We've got a few other names. Go find it at Trader TV, Sean. But at the end of the day, we need to be short Tesla. I can pull back all my trades from yesterday. I think this was... I mean, it was one of the green names that we traded yesterday because look at this 152. I think we had the exact same level written down yesterday. Yesterday we had 155, but then we used 152. I could just keep pulling up all of these sticky notes. But anyways, look, if we get to that high, that's where we want. The best short is there, but I feel like yesterday's close. This name shouldn't get positive today. It's down 1%. The market's trying to figure itself out. Remember, we talked about how this market is bouncing off of a level 17.4 that goes back. So that 17.4 is something to watch out for. So I don't know if I'm going to hit the short. Yesterday when we broke, I think it was it 150? Yeah, it was 150, right? Right there. We hit that short on the break of 150 to the downside. I don't think I'm going to hit this 145.50 or whatever this is. I think it's made a nice move back up. If we were still hovering down here, then I would smash this to the short side. But for now, it's just given us that top up here near and around 150. So I think that's where you get that party started. So I'm going to try to go short here on Tesla. We've seen dramatic moves off the open. Like yesterday, we opened 150, we got to 152, and then we slammed. So, you could easily get up to that $1, $2 move into 150 area and you short it. There's no... in my age and my wisdom, you just have to understand for myself, it makes no sense to trade something if you're not at a level that makes sense to put real risk into it. If you want to trade it for fun and put in a couple shares, and you'll hear me say that, starter position, this or that. So I think Tesla's a negative move. I don't see any positive catalysts. Until we do, I'm going short Tesla. And now we have 152 and 150 to look at. So those are my trades there with only 13 minutes to go.
All right, we mentioned the volatility overnight in the equity futures and commodity futures as well. Here's Bitcoin overnight with a wild ride as well on these geopolitical tensions and escalation or potential escalation over in the Middle East. That was, 2 a.m. Eastern, so we get back above 64,000, which if you zoom out onto a daily chart was that key level from going back a couple of months anyways, but a lot of the equity is pretty active here as well.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. More like a chaos hedge now, BTC. All right, so the BTC halving event widely expected to be tomorrow. We'll see if that manifests in anticipation of that Goldman and JP Morgan coming out overnight and trying to warn some of their clients not to rely too much on the previous halving cycles where we've seen the price of Bitcoin really increase a lot after that. They're saying given the respective prevailing macroeconomic conditions and the financial environment were more stable at the time. They're citing things like higher interest rates and geopolitical factors as maybe this time's a little different.
Maybe. We'll see. And at the end of the day, look, whether you're trading Bitcoin or Coinbase, Mara, they're all a little bit different. We've talked about the fact that Mara, the halving and all that kind of stuff, and it's not necessarily good for them, but they've already been beaten down, Mara, and they're at the lows. There is a note that Michael Saylor has apparently done now 90% of his intended sale. I don't really trade them anyways, but maybe that's a bit of a catalyst for that to stop its downward run. Coinbase feels like the one. If we hold 65,000, which every time I look over, it's like we were above it by a little bit. Now we're right back underneath 65,000. If we can't hold above, I don't even want to think about the long here. So if we end up flushing off underneath 65,000 on BTC, then coin in this range is supposed to be a short. But all the things I love are those chip names. We're going to get to ARM in a quick little second here. So I'm probably sitting this out unless we get a run above 65,000, and then I might look to the potential breakout trade here in Coinbase. Oh yeah, one of our trading floor managers pointed out that according to a NASDAQ website, SMCI was supposed to report on the 7th, at least what he had found. So that would be moving up their announcement. But I saw Trade ID as a 30th anyways, so I'm not sure. But the stock's reacting as if moving it up is bad, so just go with that.
Yeah. Crypto. So yeah, I was just talking about the resilience of Bitcoin there and the fact that, maybe now it's going to serve more of a purpose as we look to be more cautious with, some geopolitical issues. We've seen gold obviously break out and continue. Actually, I don't even know what gold's doing today. I would assume it's going higher. GLD right now, yes. So GLD is actually flat right now. Okay. Gold flat today, GLD anyways. All right, so I just feel that, we did get some nice movement upside. I mean, we just sort of started this move. This is a 2-hour chart. Nice bounce again off 60. We've seen that hold now for pretty much all month for the last 20 days. So I like these levels. I think crypto has a chance, especially if we have more uncertainty globally and financially, that Bitcoin can work. So I don't know if anybody's actually selling any of the coins they have, or are they even buying dips? I mean, now you have IBIT, and every time that money flows into there, they're going to need to go in on exchange and start to buy some crypto. So that's good also for Coinbase, getting those transactional values going through there. The more people are worried about crypto, potentially they more trade in and out of it. But I don't know that to be the case because there's a certain amount of wallets that don't move no matter what happens. So trading, good for Coinbase. Custodial stuff, good for Coinbase. Sometimes they get into some trouble. I feel like now maybe they've sort of gone past some of the SEC and regulation issues. Still lots of work to be done, but at the end of the day, Coinbase is at the 50-period moving average, and although we dipped under it right here, we didn't stay under it for very long. We got to 117 the last time we dipped under. It was 130 down to 117. Looks like something similar might have just happened. We broke and held 200, now up to 224. Maybe Coinbase has support down there near 200.
ARM, downside here. I just noticed 100 coming into play here. Once again, for ARM, BNP Paribas with a downgrade from outperform to neutral on ARM seems to be the main reason here, at least this morning. It's not a lot of catalyst behind, or not a lot of volume behind this, I should say, but we are back to basically session lows here once again for ARM.
Yeah, that 100 level is in. We're trading at 188 right now. So anybody looking for an interesting trade, there you go. 100 levels on ARM. Was a big red day for ARM yesterday. In the last couple of days, even though we heard that they may be getting $6.5 billion awfully soon, as early as next week, to help with the foundries that they have under construction. As Brendo mentioned, Exane BNP Paribas analyst David O'Connor downgrading it from outperform to neutral and reducing the price target to $100. So currently where it is right now.
Yeah, trying to bounce off that 100 right now, but again, only, 200 and change thousand shares so far.
Yeah, not always the biggest volume mover, even when it's going. That said, that gives you some of the juice. Is relatively low float as it just came to market, but we had this one often yesterday. And I know Micron was a weaker stock, but had a 105 break, shorted the lower high, 106 change, shorted the 107 level. Eventually, the 107 proved to be the best short trade ultimately. But this is one where it's disappointing because the gap down today is just like Tesla. The gap down today is what you were looking for in the original break. So if 100 goes, I'll test it for sure. And if we bounce off 100, a bounce off 100 is not a bounce like off any other level. I feel like if it holds that, you really want to be patient. You close that 104.90, so 105. That gives you an obvious spot to look for a bounce fade. And then the 107, if it was so good yesterday, I think that I want to go back to the well over there on ARM. So this could trigger pretty much right away because it's at that 100 level. And let's see what happens. The other story with ARM was simply after the IPO lockup, when everyone said, hey, SoftBank's going to sell, they need to book that win because things have been so rough. And they just didn't. It ended up holding 120. What has changed is it lost that very big support. And now you've had a bit of a downward turn. So when you lose a support like that and you start trending down, I always look short until it shows me strength somewhere. Maybe it's off 100 today, but it's going to have to prove it to me to stop looking for the short trade.
Okay, I'm just getting ready to rock and roll here with ARM as well. I have ARM. I tested already. We don't need to pay for shorts. This is going to be trade idea number 2. It's on the sticky note right now. I just wrote down yesterday's closing price as an area of interest for us. Again, it was at 102 when we were doing that, and the market was heading northbound. We've called this sell-off, by the way. I mean, we talked about a short rate here, so here's the move down into the morning. So so far so good as that's starting to work out. We've been writing on here bear, 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 and it's dancing again here today. So I'm going to go short on ARM. I mean, this has been a forgotten, in my opinion, trade by me because I'm still mad about 2 days ago because that was such a good break there of 120. We knew that at some point SoftBank was going to come in here and sell, and I bet you they're doing it now. And then once you go through 100, I mean, I have to look that up. I'm sure you can. Once it breaks through $100, it is see you later on this name. So yeah, I am looking to break this. I said that we'd have to have the market on our side to do this. Looks like the market is going to be on the side of the break, especially when you see other names and we're okay, good. I have Shopify's on. It's funny, we have ARM, but we don't really have anything here as far as chips, so I think it's the same space. So NVIDIA here with SMCI all falling off that 8. Like, I love this 852. You guys know I've lost a lot of money playing off this, made more than that. So we like that level. We'll dance with it again, but it is a nice move down in here for NVIDIA, down 1.15%. SMCI, for some reason, announces their earnings date, which we already knew what it was. So that's the funny thing. I don't know why that's an issue, but that drops down 5%. Give them an excuse to sell. They'll take it. And then AMD down, and thank you to my guy Brendan over there, over 32% from its highs. So, I mean, this name is just getting basically crushed every day, but you do have an opportunity to play rips. And we did that yesterday a lot. This was by far, like, if I don't have AMD yesterday, then yesterday was a train wreck. We had AMD, it was a great trade, and we'll look to make the same thing again here today if we get something in and around this 155. So I just say buckle up, be patient. That was the idea today. I'm confused that the market's not even down more than this, but hey, I've been confused many times sitting in this seat.
Shopify here up 2 and change right now, on the way back down currently, however. Yeah, Morgan Stanley with a really positive note this morning, going to overweight on this thing. $85 price target for Shop.
Yeah, good look here. Analyst Keith Weiss from Morgan Stanley upgrading this, as you said, from overweight from equal weight to overweight, $85 price target. He says he sees 20% CAGR growth, which stands for compounding annual growth rate, as well as too much of a retracement here. He feels the new metrics justify the valuation.
Just quickly, Sean, you mentioned that SMCI. Apparently last time they also announced preliminary estimates when they announced their earnings date. So that might be the negative move. No estimates for SMCI.
Okay, now that makes some sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. But what's making more sense and what's making a shoot ton of dollars is shorts. AMD is just absolutely collapsing, Brendo, and Sharif and everybody and viewers all over itself right now. This is bad. I don't know. You know, we had sort of thought the market was going to do this today. ARM also, I see Neil's in that right now, breaking black below 100, so be careful there. And then
imbalance has dropped. That's
yeah, and then the imbalance has dropped. Well, the imbalance dropped at 925 though, don't they? Okay, so here we go. NVIDIA with a move down as well into 830. So we are starting to get like real nasty here. As we expected, this market would do this. So, you know, a lot of sells today. You know, I wish this wasn't the case, but we've been bearish for a minute, and we continue to be bearish. But now the market's starting to move back up, so we have Fed Goolsbee speaking today, so that could be something there with only a minute to go. A lot of big sell names. Apple with a sell down into 166. Alibaba with a little bit of a sell there too. That's already broken through 70. Of course, space is below $1, so that doesn't matter. Disney.
They announced a reverse split potentially.
Yeah.
They have no choice.
Okay, so get ready. That's horrible, yeah. Disney right there with a sell. Uber down to 70. That could be... Uber's at 70, eh? I didn't even realize this was that low either. So there goes Uber wicking down to 68, it looked like at some point here today. Yeah, so this is going to be, again, I don't know. We talked about this. Let's just see what happens. It's the market, and it's going to be a fun ride today, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. So obviously at night, Well, in 15 seconds, I was like at 9:30. No, in 15 seconds, market's going to be open. I had the break. It didn't go right away. So I'm like, no, let's take half off because it's pre-market still. So I did take half off because it was too much before the market opens up. But in 3, 2, and 1, let's ring it, Era. There we go. I want to make sure I have NVIDIA. I didn't even have NVIDIA up when that happened. NVIDIA is still at that 8:30. So I'm only in ARM. I have a short the pop in. Okay, that's not gonna fill. Never mind. I was about to say, forget about like $36. Intel's back through 35. Shit. I should have a look at that. Oh, Tesla 150. I just looked up. Tesla's trying to test the 150. I'm sitting at 152. That's the first level up. ARM gave a fill at 99.5. And is now trying to recover. So it's recovering the 101 level. So I did get filled at 99.5. This is part of why I took half off almost like right away. Did not want to be all in at that bottom. If it curls off 101, I don't mind shorting that pop again. But Tesla's going to get to 150 any second now.
Yeah, okay, so we better look at Tesla. We're looking at AMD as well. We got in and out of AMD there quickly for about 30 cents. Now we're going to watch out. There goes Tesla back up to the upside right now. Good call on that one as it is starting to go. I'm waiting for ARM. We talked about being a little more patient, but we're not going to be too patient with AMD because if that breaks, then we're going to watch out for that. Tesla with a nice move up, but there's the break back down lower here for the market. So watch out, AMD coming into 150. I like that trade. I also like this Tesla up to 150 as well. So let's put an offer up there in case that does get back to that side.
Yeah, I probably just missed a chance at Tesla. I did so close, accidentally long an ARM just there. So I was like, yeah, we're getting out at 101. I don't want to be long. Even if it works, I don't care. I'm not trying to be long the stock. I'm looking for a rollover at that price. Rivian, no $9 level. Looks like we're going to have to wait for that. I thought we'd get like if Tesla's screaming, I thought Rivian would give us this $9 trade that we wanted. Yet Tesla is testing the 150 now, and Rivian is nowhere near the $9 level. So a little surprising, but that's fine. We'll just have to be patient with Rivian. But Tesla just came in. I have 77s in front of this 150. If it goes to 152, that's a different trade. I want to see it hold this $0.5 at least. No look on ARM back through 101. Looks like it's holding some strength over there. So it's a good thing we got out of that one. NVIDIA's back to 840. So the chips are bouncing. You got to be patient if you want to short the pops, I think, in those names.
Yeah, we're sitting here right now with Tesla. We have that. Well, I have a short at 95 right now, but it's a decent position for sure. So remember, people, if you guys are joining us for the first time, please trade your own style, your own book, all that kind of stuff, okay? Because as you guys know, we don't show our position size. You know, like I could have way more, way less. Every trade is way different. So, you know, trade it as your own. I'm going to give, before I move off of this, I'm going to take some more shares up here near 151. Okay, for Tesla. So here it comes back up. It's coming up to that 151. I want to take more. I'm going to get out on like pretty much a break of that 151. This will be my first trade idea here today. If it works, it's going to have to start to work. If not, we'll get out of it. So there it is. So we're in it right now for Tesla. Let's see what happens. We are now short at 50s. So notice where we're short, and let's just see what happens here with Tesla.
Absolutely. ARM is absolutely flying. You've got to be kidding me. So we think we're going to get the pre-market high here. Rivian's starting to come in. You're at this level on NVIDIA, which is right underneath resistance or support from yesterday. So if we curl and it's VWAP, I'm looking at that for an opportunity right here on ARM, pre-market highs. Sometimes that short the pop can be tricky because if you can either sit out in front of it or you can try to get it on the way down. I'm electing to try to get back in on said way down. It's just a matter of style. I prefer to get it on the other end if possible instead of having to take that fill through. Okay, so ARM's back in. We're short that one again. I do want that. I talked about a breakout trade in Reddit. It looks like that's not going to happen. I suppose it was just a day where you should be in DJT. 42.25 is my breakout on Reddit. I don't think we're getting that anytime soon. Looks like things have calmed down over there on Reddit side.
Okay, good. Yeah, for
DJT.
Good Reddit.
I don't know why I don't like that one again because apparently it's just stronger for reasons unknown.
We're getting filled now on Tesla on the bid. So let's just wait to see. It's just around the same prices here. We've taken some fills underneath 150 here. But obviously, we're waiting for a bigger move back in for Tesla as again, you know, the market's just has done
Get down.
real well. Yeah, get the hell down is right, Neil. That's it, man. This trade hopefully is that trade that spins the money one more time here today. So just with this one trade, we go shooting up this board, and this is the one here that means everything to me. So here we go. It is Tesla. We're short. It's your first Dollar Club member right now for Tesla on that short. So there it is right now, man. Different day, different thread, same results. Let's go downside now for Tesla and see what exactly the damage we could do. We're up. I mean, now we're rocking. Now this is a really good trade as we're starting to get down to the downside. We write down this level, and when we write something down, we take it. So there it goes. Nice downside move here for Tesla. Let's just keep cashing it out if we can. We now do have no, we just got filled there, about a third left of this position. So I'm going to hold on to this one and see what happens, because I don't know if you saw Meta, but this was the one that I had written down as a short. But unfortunately, it took 500 and it took it pretty quickly there, and now it's gone. So see you later, Meta. Watch this money here come through on, hopefully on Tesla for the short, as this is the biggest trade one more time here today. Trade idea number 1 on the sticky note. So there it goes again. Everybody behind me that asks me what's going on with that every day. I mean, they asked me on Monday. It's now Friday. What's going on, Adara?
Yeah, CGC having a nice move to the upside right off the open. We actually did have a bit of a negative catalyst here for this one after market close yesterday, saying that they the company announced that they exchanged 17 million common shares in the capital of the company for exchangeable shares for no consideration. So just a bit of a share switch up there happening after close yesterday. Now we're covering up 2+%. Some Twitter mentions for this one as well, propelling it to the upside, guys.
Okay, so SMCI is back at the low of the day and continuing to flush. I'm in the same boat. I have 1/3 left of Tesla, but these chips are starting to get a little bit out of hand. If SMCI, just an early report, is doing this, I'm gonna go back. I'm already in ARM. Oh, DXYZ broke. Sorry, I was gonna go to Micron, but Destiny, whatever the heck you call this thing, the Destiny 100.
Oh yeah.
What is it? Is that what it's called? DXYZ just broke that local bottom at 28.50. Oh, there you go, New York. That was weird. Okay. I'm going to get a bit in front of 28 even because there seems to be somebody there. I want to give this back into that 29, and if it does try to shoot up, I do want to be short this name. And shout out to everyone in the chat. We're just talking about IPOs, and then all of a sudden I pulled up this chart. I wasn't even thinking about Destiny. I'm like, holy crap, that's a flat bottom break. So we are into this one. I want to give, ARM just came back. So SMCI just broke the lows. NVIDIA's at the lows. ARM just came back, but only to VWAP. Remember, we're in the short early. It broke the 101, shorted it back underneath the pre-market highs, and we're back to VWAP. We're going to get another bid at 101 on ARM here. We'll check in on some of those other, DJT and Reddit when things settle down a bit.
Oh, man. What a day. What a day. We're just taking right there almost $2 now on Tesla. And, I mean, this is what I'm going to be doing, man. We're already 1 for 1 on AMD on a quick short early on 151 break, out 151.16. That was a big trade. Now it looks like, it wasn't a big trade. It would have been better to hold it, but we got in and out of that one real quick. I couldn't even explain it to you when we were in it. And Tesla right now is really starting to go. You know, we talk about how fortune favors the bold. We put on shares. And this is what it is right now. It's another one of them days, guys. Let's just see what happens right now. We'll be 2 for 2 here, and it's big. And it's been working, so we're going to keep working it. There's now is $2 now in the money for Tesla. So, 1 and 2, and that's what it is. Now it's a nice move down. It is your sticky note trade, number 1 for the day. Stay in the catalysts. Stay in your zone. Be confident. Be patient. Be calm, okay? If we could do that, then we can get this. There's the trade right there, as it was written on Tesla, 152 short. And now you are printing with me $2+ in the money right there. It's a big day. It's just one of those days. And here we go again. Let's see if ARM and AMD can continue to go lower and lower and lower. Meta tanking.
Yeah, Meta's looking really nasty. I just got the 101 on ARM, so that's about $1. But Meta is. It's ugly. There was that story, of course, overnight, China, and it was pretty much targeting the App Store and only Meta. Like everybody else kind of got the okay, not the okay, but they just weren't targeted. if you get to 487, that was the bottom on the week. I think you could maybe find some support on that one. And if you're looking at why we focused on Meta, because look at Google. Like Google, by contrast, it's down, but it's holding the lows. So I don't wonder if this is going to be something at that 154, if it can hold on the line. Actually, 153.5 is where I've drawn support. So it would have to break 154, I think, for me to look at a support level long on Google. And then Apple as well. There we go. Apple broke through 166. I didn't have this one for a trade, but that's big support on the daily, this 166. You go all the way back to October of 2023. If it doesn't recover this level, I think it could get nasty for Apple. It felt trappish, that move to the upside. Whether it works or not, I wanted this DXYZ. I keep saying DJT for the breakdown trade, but I'm only giving it back into prior resistance. I do want multiple shots at this. I think the day that this does break down, it's breaking down $5. It's not going from, it's not like a $1 type of move. I think it's the kind of thing that can really go. If it does some kind of a curl again, I want to jump back into it. But for now, we're sticking ARM and Tesla. They were the top two things on my list yesterday, and they were the top two things again on my list today. SMCI, which I think started a lot of this mess, just tagged $850 for a little bit of a bounce. If this breaks 850, you can stick a fork in a lot of these chip names. Adara?
This part of the show brought to you by VinFast. VinFast is driving the future today. In just the first quarter of 2024, we've surged our revenue by over 269% to $302.6 million and increased vehicle deliveries by an astounding 444%. The company's global expansion is unstoppable, with new launches across Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Africa, and a groundbreaking new facility in India.
I'm going to say thank you so much to this F-Force here. This is not a true statement, but you've used it's the first part is not true, but you use your style and profit, and you've now profited 9 out of 10 days. So again, a big congratulations. And that's, to me, that's what it's all about. I can sit here and wax poetic and all that kind of stuff, but you guys can clearly see the trades, and I just want to thank you, F-Force, and every single person on here for all of the talk about these trades. So, there it is again. We just hit it down at the 200 period, moving average. There's our last, well, we still have a small, so right now I have that 10% left on Tesla now. When we go to VWAP, when we go there, we're getting out of that right now. So it's a big day around here. As I said, we don't have to run through the leaderboard or anything like that, but today, just with this one trade, I am proud to say that we are holding the trophy here today, and it's been a big day, and let's just wait to see what happens moving forward. I hope we can put on more damage. I hope everyone behind us can put damage in this market as well, but just to show you, it's one trade, and sometimes that's all it takes. So, so far so good here. Let's move on and try to find something else. Right now, I don't have anything else on my radar because we have been sort of resting on this. We took shares. We're very, very comfortable with the amount of shares that we had there. We've been building into bigger positions, as you guys know, and putting this on there. And now, as you just mentioned there, eForce, 9 out of your last 10 trades or 10 days have been P&L positive, and that's very, very respectable. And I want to say congratulations to you on that one. So, and congratulations to anybody else as well that's having runs like that. So, big ups to that, man. Trading's hard enough as it is. Make that money when you're feeling it, and definitely we're doing that over here.
Yeah, congratulations to you on that. It's been one of those weeks. Not everyone's gonna be green every single day, but you go 9 out of 10. As long as you're staying in your grind, you should be absolutely fine. Like, stick to the strategies that are working for you. And I don't really I want to have something new, but I look at all of the stocks that I liked, at the prices that I liked, and I'm not actually seeing anything trading at them. And that's fine. It's 9:43. Oftentimes I'll say at 10 o'clock, okay, at 10 o'clock, let's reassess. Let's see what the trend is saying. I know I wanted Rivian at 9. It's trying to bounce. Maybe it does come up there, and I'm shorting that 9 level. You never know. I wanted Reddit for a breakout. Reddit's still within the pocket that it could happen. So you've made the bottom break. Now you're consolidating higher, so it can take out that top. It hasn't happened yet, so we got to be a little bit patient with this. Tesla's making a bit of a bounce here. But again, it's lower highs, it's at VWAP. I think this one has a decent shot. 147.5, if it breaks, I think is a hold to 146. If it gets down there again and bounces, I'd probably take it out. And then ARM, I think I'm looking reload, but not underneath VWAP. If it was a fail break of the pre-market high that was the most effective trade, then I should be looking to short off the 103. So let's just take a second, wait back and see what's next. Someone just said Robinhood's breaking out. I don't mind looking at them. Someone had said there was an outage on Robinhood last night while the futures were doing all that craziness, which I guess.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't trade on Robinhood. I saw multiple people posting it, and there was a few things on like Twitter, I guess, saying that people couldn't trade on Robinhood. Not a great look for them, but I mean, it's overnight. That's not really breaking out. Okay, never mind. I thought maybe the stock was breaking out, but not much of a breakout to be seen there.
I took a little bit more on Tesla here, but I'm not sure that's going to be the right call. It's just because it's under 150. I took a little bit. I mean, here it comes. We're going to get out if it breaks 150. We're going to get out of like 75% of what we have left. We're short now at 150 flat. So, I mean, we could take some out now at 160 and then see if it wants to fall back in a little bit. So let's try to do that right now. You can see where we're short. We just got more up there at 150. So let's take a little bit of an advantage of this pushback in a little bit, and see if we can't grab some bids somewhere around here for Tesla. I'm bidding right now in the 40s. So if that can come through, that would be pretty nice. And then we'll put something down in the teens. But if this breaks again above 150 right now, then let's just assume that this, okay, here it comes back in. 52 we just got. Let's now wait to see if this comes back into VWAP, and then if not, then we can get out. So trend possibly changing. Look at the market. You could be bearish early. Doesn't mean that it's going to be bearish late. Let's see what happens here with Tesla as it's trying to push back down. I'm staying on the grind, as Neil just mentioned there. And as Neil mentioned, like when you can go, I think we're 15-3 now last 18 days. And as Neil said, that's hard to do. So we're going to stay doing what we're doing, stay with names that we've been looking at here, and we're going to stick with Tesla for now until it breaks back above that 150. Let's wait for 149.19, see if it does push down into there. Well worth it. 50 cents worth of risk. We're playing with house money right now. I like this trade here on Tesla. So
NVIDIA is making that pattern again where it tries to break the bottom at the open. It doesn't break the bottom, ends up taking out the tops, or at least taking out like VWAP in here, and then does a triple top or a double top. So every single time I've seen this, it's worked to just simply take the local breakout. So I'm going to go for it again here. Let's see if we don't get a break. It's like 140. It's like 843 quarters is this top in here. So if we hold VWAP, it's been higher lows. It's a break, and I think you get to 850 would be the target. That's generally speaking how this has worked. So I'm going to look for that breakout trade. ARM is grinding toward 103, but I want to wait for 103 to get in. If it doesn't actually get there, then I don't actually have to trade or reload that trade. AMD is making a move. I should check to see what's happening. Yeah, AMD's strong as well. That's a pretty big move back up in AMD. So you're getting a pretty solid move back in the chips. Micron I liked potentially, but that was at 113. Nothing doing. I'm looking for anything that's at a shortable level. Intel is at the low of the day when the rest of the chips just bounced. Okay, well, we always talk about relative strength and weakness, and I just scanned through, and what I see is relative weakness in Intel. Let's go for a VWAP trade. It's got the 35 level. It closed at 35. Bounce into VWAP.
All right, we are just still continuously doing what we've been doing, and that is, there it is. Did we get that, Phil? Oh no, we canceled our fill on Tesla. Why did we cancel that? All right, let's put a bid out right there. There it is, we get that. So there's the money fill right there again on Tesla. Like I said, staying here with it. We did have a very, very successful right there on the reload for TSLA. There it is. So we only have we have two trades today. AMD short, which was good. We profitable on that. That was really early. That was the break of 150, 150. It came in. We sort of had our stop set there, hit it. And then once it bounced, we got 16s or 20s there, something like that. So that turned out to be a pretty decent trade. Really just like 15 or 20 pennies. It wasn't overly dramatic, but we got in and out of that one. And then boom, goes the dynamite on AMD back up to 154 just now for that. So I think that that's going to be a trade. I'm going to put an offer there near 154 in case we get back up to that upside, and then we'll start to short, in and around 154, and probably give this one to 155, which was the pre-market high, 155.50. Could be something there. But for right now, man, we're just putting our foot on the throat of Tesla. I mean, we had sort of looked at this name. We talked about it. We went over it in the pre-market. We marked it down as our trade idea number one right there. And as we both always say, if there's going to be an idea that you have, that should be the one that either, you make a decent spot or you lose a little bit. And on that one right there, that's what wound up happening. So far so good here for Tesla as we just continue to watch it basically collapse here through 150, now taking down 149. It's bounced off here before, and we took an out there, but now we're still playing ball here, man. We've still got this trade on. It's going to be a good one. It's Tesla, and it's short, and it is, again, on a reload. Professor, school's in. And there's dollar clubs throwing down everywhere. This is the school where it doesn't cost you any money to go to school. All you have to do is hit the like, everybody, the subscribe, and give us your time.
Don't say that. Public schools do cost money, Remain. They're called taxes.
They cost a lot of money.
There's no tax dollars paying for Trader TV Live. But I was gonna
like,
hit
subscribe,
that
and share the show that takes you into the heart of the market.
We've neglected that key while Sharif is actually in the building. Well, it's entirely true. Like in trading, you put the time in front of the screen that's what you cost. And obviously you can say time is money, but it's not the same as money out of your pocket. Let's be real for a second. We're about to go to Adara. Well, I'll come back, but ARM, Tesla are both flushing. You guys can probably already see it.
WISA here to the upside. This one has had a couple catalysts over the last few days, mostly with regards to licensing deals. No new catalyst on this one today, but they do have a float of about 1.5 million shares. They also underwent a 1-for-150 reverse split on Monday, April 15th. So lots of catalysts moving WISA around, guys.
Oh, I didn't get the Reddit breakout.
Thank you so much, everybody in the chat, man. It really means a lot. Like sometimes when I go on those little, tirades or whatever, I guess it's not a tirade, blabber-ons, means a lot that people sometimes are listening, so that's good. All right, so here we go. We're still watching out for Tesla. I do see what you put in there, Kyle. Yeah, I mean, Apple is getting canned as well, man. Kicked down the road, and not very nicely. We've been bearish, like I said, all week, and you could see the weekly candle. You're going to see it. It's been a good decision to be bearish. Go back, look over at sticky note. At Trader TV, Sean, the sticky note all week has been bearish. We had dancing bears on there. We've got Pelosi with the mask today. We've got lots of interesting things that we've been tweeting out and trade ideas. And today we are running this stock right here, Tesla. Let's see what happens now moving forward. We're going to look for another name. Amazon has been strong recently, but now breaking below, going into 177. But look, still holding up. So if we can get something into 177 here on Amazon, that could be a good buy. The other level, the only buy area, oopsies, shop.bl, shop.ny. That name here, this was the idea that we had. By the way, Tesla right now is starting to go lower and lower and lower. We talked about buying this at 70. This could also be a trade. But for right now, those are some long ideas that I'm looking at. Amazon down there near 177. Shopify down nearby the $80, $70 mark. But for right now, we'll put another bid in and around here, 148.50, and we'll see if we can't ring the register one more time here on Tesla. Put the bid out, hope it gets filled, wait for ARM to rip up, wait for those things to come down. And thank you so much, Eddie. I mean, it's this kind of stuff. At Sean Katina, you provide more education, paying me money to listen. I mean, what university will do that? I mean, I'm not paying you guys money. I mean, I'm paying myself, but I'm also hopefully educating everybody out there so that you can hit the keys and make some money too. Because honestly, man, success rate of traders, we talk about it all the time. It's not the greatest. So take your time, be patient with everything, have a passion for it, and do your work and realize when it is for you and when it's not for you. That's my advice.
Exactly. Good day, mate. Russell Jackson in the house. What up, buddy? From out halfway across the world. Good to see you back in there. Reddit is off to the races. Andy and Naked Charts. Hope you guys got that one as it's continuing to go higher. Tesla is catching bids at 148.5. Like every time it gets underneath 149, there's these wick. What I'm going to do, every time it gets underneath 149, these wicks, and it comes right back above. So I want to see a breakdown. If it eventually takes 148, a trailing stop is going in on Tesla. NVIDIA is still doing the dance with higher, there we go, with higher lows into the flat top break. So it hasn't gone yet, but it's still basically the same pattern, and that pattern has worked for a breakout long, even if it is a scalp trade. But while it was down $10 away, I canceled the order. It gets back above VWAP. I put the order for the breakout back in. One of my rules of thumb, and I learned this one the hard way, is I never want to have a breakout, or once it travels too far away from the breakout price, I don't want a stop order to take that breakout long, because if it were to fill in the moment,
there it is.
It has to run, it could run $10, say on something like a weird spike, and then you punch the top in like a crazy move where you want it grinding into the level and then consolidating for the break. So my order is going to go back in when it's above VWAP, and then it's out when below. I still didn't get picked up on Intel because Intel's not going up. It's just hanging out doing nothing. So I'm going to be a little bit more patient here. I feel like it would be chasing it at 60 when VWAP would be taking fills in at about 34.75, 34.85. That would be a more patient look here for Intel. Tesla, now you're making that run. This is where the trail is going to go in. It's put up or shut up. It should be taking out this 148 level. Otherwise, I don't need to be holding this thing back through VWAP. Oh yeah, for those of you that are in SMCI, like this is still going down. And I mean, I saw someone in the chat saying, well, it's an overreaction that they just didn't give the update everyone's expecting. It doesn't really matter what we think. It's down 9%, and clearly the pressure's on for them. It'll be SSR in another $10 here, so watch out for that. Like short sell restricted. Maybe that gives it a bounce. It's got support at $800, but I think you stay the course with the shorts. The futures haven't given you any reason, or the chip names, any reason to get away from it at this point. Adara?
Keep an eye on VTNR here. Vertex Energy, this one trying to run for the second day in a row. No new catalyst that I'm seeing on it today, but yesterday providing some positive operational updates for 2024 thus far. And we have a short float of over 18% VTNR, guys.
All right. So far, so good. Good job here today, boys. Like I said, I'm going to shout out one more guy over here because it's someone that makes is the chosen one. I'm going to give a big shout out to Josh. Another good day for Josh. So let's go big up to Josh right now. Hit the sirens for that one right here. Big guy Josh back in the back. Good luck, my guy, on that. Here we go. Tesla, by the way, it's now $1.50 in the money on the reload. All right. Part of having a good environment around here is congratulating and making sure that everybody, does have that confidence and making sure that they know that when they have the ability, that they have the ability and it's time to go. And that's why we talk about how hard it is to become this, so that when you're actually able to make money doing this, it's something that it's a skill that you should try to hone and, build into it, because the opportunities that not only this job has given me, I've worked here for 22 years doing the same stuff, trading, being pulled off the floor to teach after a year and a half of trading when I was just finished university. Lots of exciting things happen. The market is forever changing. It's different today than it was yesterday, let alone 5 years ago, let alone 10 years ago, let alone 20 years ago. New products. Just wish I would have bought all my Bitcoin when I was that young. We just got out of a little bit of Tesla down there. Of course, it does get near. We got out at 148.50. It does come right into that 200 period again, right there for Tesla. I'm going to wait for it to drop off because, quite frankly, the market's not even down yet. I mean, we're down 0.4. That's a sneeze right here. It can get a lot nastier than that. And trust me, I want to be on that Tesla train if it does go to the downside. And in case you were wondering what exactly is happening with the ES, I'm going to have to look at some things because I bet you oil could possibly be up here. We could check out JP Morgan, some of the financials. But right now, the SPY, my guy, is green. So watch out for that.
Dude, AXP.
As the S&P 500 goes.
Yeah, American Express blew it out the top, by the way. I know we're looking at the chip names and Tesla, which is where you got to be because that's the better trade. I don't think you can trade AXP. I don't know any day traders that actually try to execute on things like this, but AXP is up 3.5%, so it eventually did go to the upside. I said where my trail was going to be on Tesla, and I'll go hit enter twice, and we put it in. It bounced off the 148 level, couldn't make that breakthrough, so I'll trail it. The money fills have been over VWAP. My level on it was support levels or resistance levels. If it gets back above, I want the 151. I'm still in ARM. NVIDIA, the more I stare at it, the more it doesn't break this top. So you're seeing it hold VWAP and do these wicks. And I will take this breakout trade. It's just, obviously it's not happening at this point. You are resisting. I want Intel short to short the pop underneath previous low. So it's about waiting for that next trade. Like and you don't want to force it. That's the other thing. Like I could already be shorting the absolute bottom. You could easily do that if you want to. I did miss out on Reddit. That'll be on me. I went over to DXYZ and canceled my order on Reddit. I only have like 4 or 5 level 2s up. You're only gonna have so many at once. But I went away from the Reddit breakout. It was good. You could have got a buck on that one depending on what your slippage would be and what the spread was like. I wasn't watching. It's about 10 to 15 cents. So I think you're getting that one in the 20s, and then you're able to get it to 43.20. Still looking like it's gonna be strong. No eyes on DJT just yet. And okay, NVIDIA just pulled off that top one more time. Let's go to the desk. It's time for happening now. Come on, NVIDIA.
QQQs or the NASDAQ decidedly to the downside right now. SPY trying to hold on to positivity as we head into the final day of the week. Initially did have a bit more of a sell-off overnight, and in the pre-market tried to recover a little bit here. So we'll have to wait and see what these markets decide to do, especially with the SPY on the precipice of going red. Also worth noting, we have Fed's Goolsbee at 10:30 a.m., so in about half an hour, we'll have some comments from Fed's Goolsbee. No other Fed speakers or major economic data on watch today, but definitely geopolitical events still on watch, this is the start of this Q1 2024 earnings season for big tech, specifically Netflix trying to recover a little bit here, now down about 6% after posting an earnings beat, but a little bit weaker revenue forecast for Q2 2024. We also have here Shopify trying to hold on here, up about 2% after an upgrade and price target increase from Morgan Stanley. And last but not least, Paramount still holding up very well here, up about 10% on some reports that Apollo and Sony are joining together for this acquisition bid for Paramount. So a few names to the upside despite the overall weakness in the market, guys.
All right, I'm going to take, thanks to Dara for that little bit of a recap there. AMD, I'm going to take the short through 152. I mean, that's Tesla. I don't know why we're still on that one. AMD, there's the VWAP right there. That's what I'm looking at. It keeps on bouncing there. We are down 1.5%, which is more aggressive than the market. We missed out 154. We were sitting there. I would love to get a 153 and change back in if we can do that on this stock. We're going to have to wait to see what the market does. But if the market breaks down, we're going to go back over to this name and see about it breaking lower on AMD, and then we'll deal with it after that. Outs around 50 here for AMD. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take a little bit less. I mean, we don't talk about share size, but I'm going to lower it a little bit there on the break of 152 because I'm noticing that my out would probably be, and see how I think. So you guys want to talk about being a professor and everything like this? I have to, teach you. Like, my out would be right around the 50-period moving average. So I got to figure out, how many shares I want in case that does go sour. Because, when you're in winners, like Tesla, all you can do is push keys to take profit. It's when you're in losers, what keys do you push? That's what matters. So 155, maybe even up to 153 on some kind of a short there. So again, I could see a break here and then an absolute run back up. So be careful. That's why I lowered the shares, but this is a trade that I'm willing to take here. A break of 152 on AMD.
Oh, speaking of, I got into Intel, so I'm only in 2 chip names short. SMCI is at 830 and is now SSR. They are dumping this thing. It is flush city on SMCI. It's now short sell restricted, down a full 10%. If you're just tuning in now in the pre-market, they essentially, their earnings date announced for the 30th, and there was an expectations that there would be some revenue numbers that would come out there. And they basically did not give any kind of an update, which everyone was expecting. Sometimes when you don't do that, people assume it's bad news, right? Generally speaking, you don't get what you want, people think it's bad news. You're not going to say subs anymore. Everyone thinks it's bad for Netflix. It happened with Palo Alto. You release earnings early on a Friday. Everyone assumes you have something to hide, or not hide, something you want to get out in front of. But is what it is. The stock is dying. I think the shorts are still going to be solid. If I do get NVIDIA, it's a breakout trade. I'm taking it full point A, 2 point B, and that's just about it. Before we get back to Adara, Apple's at 165, cresting at that bottom. There's some decent size down there and some support. Kind of a big level on Apple, and we are at 10 o'clock. This would be a time that if it's going to make like a VWAP retracement, not a bad look. I've been trying not to catch any bids here, but we're starting to get to a significant level here on Apple, down 1%. Adara?
Watch out for AMC here, up almost 7% right now. Fell down a little bit here, but still holding up pretty well. Nice volume pop on this one. They did get a price target decrease from Wedbush. However, Wedbush raised its guidance or its estimates for AMC for Q1 2024. So actual guidance increase or expectation increase here from Wedbush for AMC. Also, lots of social media attention for this name and a short float of about 20%, guys.
Still 20%?
I'm still, so you guys have known the play that I'm looking at here. We're also looking at taking AMD short if it gets in here into 153.50. So I'm actually hoping for a little bit of a rip in these names. It's SMCI that was down that 8% and still going. It seems like, yeah, 10 now. Still going. And I mean, like they mentioned, they're announcing their earnings date seems to have been a problem. So there it is, all the way to the downside, as no one wants to hear earnings from any of these companies. We told you that was the #1 story here. Now, we already know that the Fed is not on our side. We've talked about that. They are not cutting anytime soon. So unfortunately, all you have to do is now look at geopolitical. How's that going? You got to look at oil. How's that going? How's gold doing? What are the yields doing? Oh yeah, ripping. The dollar we've talked about. I mean, tell me, until we get good earnings, what is the catalyst to go long? Oh, all these things are down so much that therefore I'm going to buy them. Okay, that might be a strategy. And if you're dollar cost averaging and you're buying every month, then yeah, you want these moves to come down. But if you're swing trading, I don't really see too much available here as you look for longs. I mean, you could take the longs and hope that AMD will hold 150, but we said this already. Every single day we come in here, I see the market go up, and then this is what happens to me. We get the claws, Dada as well. We get the claws out, and we come just absolutely after this market with pure vengeance. And I mean, it's really worked out. Shout out to Kyle, shout out to Dan, shout out to everybody who's been short, but you can also make a lot of money long. I mean, this would be a perfect example. AMD bounced huge off of 150. Huge today, up $4. That's a monster trade. I don't have a $4 winner. Tesla's going to be PNL 1. It's not close. But the idea here is to wait for your opportunity, wait for your setups. And then start going. So, and then congratulations, Honest Abe. That's amazing. So, no red days this month. Yeah, we're there with you, but I think we have 2. We talked about that. So, so far so good here. And I just talked to myself. So, that's a good trade right there for Tesla, but it is starting, and I think you're still not long yet. Like, I'm thinking the same thing about maybe.
I don't know where.
I'm trying to think about reversing longs.
I was just obviously Apple 165 is the thing, and it's kind of grinding down to the price. So I don't wonder if the market's weak, why shouldn't I just let it actually test 165? Why jump out in front of it? In a strong market, when you're shorting, you want to wait for it to get to your price. If it's trending up, you wait for it to get to where you want it to, and then you go short. You don't try to get in front. If you're trying to catch a falling, or you're trying to get a bounce play, why would I try to guess that Apple's going to bounce in front? Let's just let it. I just want to see 165. And I saw in the chat someone saying that they couldn't go short with their broker on Intel. I don't know for sure, but my guess would be that's something specific to your broker, because that is not the kind of stock that would ever have any borrowing issues. You're not going to have to borrow for Intel. It should be available, and that's unfortunate if you can't ever trade something. But there's a lot of places you can be looking in the chip space. Actually, oddly enough, Micron's at the highs. I was going to point to things that are weak, but SMCI obviously is weak. There's NVIDIA's underneath VWAP. You've got AMD that you can trade. So there's plenty of places you can go. Marvell's going to be one of them. If you can't trade Intel, it's not the end of the world. ARM is an example. That's back under VWAP. It can't seem to get back into the 100 level. But when you fail a break of 100, I'm half expecting a bit of a bounce off the 100 level second time. So I'm bidding to get out in front of 100. I promised to look at DJT here, even though I'm not long. Well, that's actually, back underneath VWAP. So it looks like DJT might be running out of steam up here. Worth a bit of a look. It did make a little bit of a top there. 38 was the level we called out in the afternoon show, that if it could bust 38, it had a lot of room up. It didn't break 38. If it holds a higher low, that's probably still a breakout trade. But if it fails VWAP, this could be a retracement day for DJT. So it did curl at the spot that he would have expected.
Meanwhile, we sit here and wait for opportunities, but the market is starting to go back down lower again. We miss. I'm going to now put a bid in case we get that kind of a flush. I'm not going to be able to get, armed to a level where I need to put on risk. So I'm going to wait for that. I'm going to go over to Shopify and put on something right now in and around. And the reason why I said ARM is I'm just going over my sticky note here where we wanted ARM short, Tesla short, Shopify long, Meta short. I mean, we had written all those down before the market opened, of course, today. We can see what's going on. I'm just going to put this at $70.20. I know that's a ways away. I just want to put it there. It's $1. I'm not going long on VWAP here, no, but if it does fall, just in case. Watching Tesla continuously going, well, we had a bounce there. I'm not going to reload this. We have our out. If it breaks, it breaks. Otherwise, we only have about that 10% left. So this is why I'm trying to hunt for more things, okay? But like I said, man, this is a big day, and we've had 2 trades. So we're going to be as patient as possible. We said be patient. It's been working for us all damn month, and we're going to continue to do that again here now, right now for everybody. Apple, Meta was the short that we had on. I mean, I don't even know how and why really we had this on there. I mean, I know we had that WhatsApp news, but it wasn't even, it was up in the pre-market there. Meta, and then all of a sudden when the market opened up, it got really flushed down into the downside. So this trade definitely working for anybody that's trying to hold shorts, and this could be a good short as well, breaking back down below 490 because you're on this ridge here that is a slippery slope when it breaks. So that right here is the real break would be in and around, stop loading, 485. I mean, we've wicked. I mean, what are some of those wicks right now? I know Tesla's dancing around. I may get out of a piece right now. That is so 487. So that might be the level right there to look for on Meta, that bottom break of 487. But you are under the 50-period moving average, and I can't say it's hard to take some risk. If you can get back up to VWAP, I think we like this trade as well. A 497 or so short. But at the same time, we're not at those levels yet. Yeah.
What longs? I don't know. I don't know if I like any longs at this point.
We took 152 short.
808. Boom like an 808 as SMCI continues to flush. So I feel like I'm going to get, ARM should test this 100 for sure. It's at 100.5. If it bounces off 100, I want to get out, short the pop. But this is starting to get, the acceleration on SMCI is getting insane. At some point, there's probably going to be some kind of a dead cat bounce on it, and maybe it gives you some relief somewhere else, like in some kind of other name. Where's AIM? Yeah, I just got ARM at 100, so I'm out of ARM. I'm just going to ring the register at the 100 level. It supported it at the open. We got back into it at 102 and took it out at 100. I'm just going to take the couple of dollars and run. If we get a bounce back into VWAP, I'll try to short that pop. But that was a pretty big parabolic move down. That's where you could see some relief. I like getting some profit on moves like that. Let's go back to Adara.
This part of the show brought to you by Pandimensional. Researching and strategizing the stock market doesn't have to be difficult. With your personalized AI investing co-pilot from Pandimensional, you can easily discover stocks and effortlessly test and execute your strategy ideas. Get quick and digestible stock market insights with Pandimensional's AI chatbot and backtest and forward test strategies with Pandimensional's AI simulator, all in a beginner-friendly platform. Try it now for free.
What company?
All right, Neil just mentioned about a wick back there on SMCI. So of course that happens pretty much the minute that AMD breaks the level that we wanted. So yeah, up to 153. We talked about sort of that level there. We dug it in. Remember, we changed our default so we could do something like this. Again, it still could be a losing trade here up to 153. It broke, and now it's breaking my heart. But you are tearing up my heart, so we'll have to see what happens here with AMD. Yeah, when I'm with you. Yeah, you're right, Sharif. You got that one. Nail it. All right, here it comes back in. Here it comes. Okay, so far so good. We are short at 17s. We just took a piece out there at 35s, trying to lick a little bit of wounds here because we did just bounce, and I don't like that, what I saw there. And there goes one of my screens, just went black, so that's cool. But right now, Tesla, we will wait to see what happens now. I'm probably going to put a piece out at 148.50 now on Tesla because maybe, as we just mentioned, that smiley face may be upon us and we start to head the other way. Short right now on AMD. It's a good thing we didn't take full amount of shares there because the reload rate now seems to be paying off a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think part of that bounce, I saw Intel try to get back up to VWAP for a split second and I reloaded it. Like I said, I think that was pretty much all a $6 or $7 bounce on SMCI, which it just evaporated. Like it just made a bounce right back into 815. It just retook the lows. So even that small reprieve is getting destroyed. I think 800 is going to have to try to put in some kind of a defense. NVIDIA, yeah, it was a key level, but you know what? I was looking for something else to short. We had ARM short, we had Tesla short, I have Intel short. The setup for me that's worked the best on breakouts has been NVIDIA on that breakout setup, but the cost of this was then not shorting that same level. So a key level can be great if it breaks it out, but if it doesn't break it out, then it's probably a fantastic short. And now it's absolutely flushing. So it is what it is. I reloaded Intel. It's immediately right back at the low of the days. So that little pop-up gave you a great chance to get some shorts.
Oh, yes, you are right, Neil. And there is the DJ for you as well. DJ Colin goes, oh, no. Is that really just another one? Look at AMD right here. We are short. Remember we were short at 20s. Now it's adjusted our prices. I remember I said, make sure you understand like what prices we're at now. So we took some out there on the way down. It's AMD and we're short 152.50 and we are putting another one on the board right there. The only problem here is that as the chip names come back down, Tesla is trying to go back up. So that's not been a nice story for the shorts, but right now AMD is a nice story for the shorts as the market starts to break lower, lower, lower. And I'd hate to say this, but we had talked about these levels now at least for 2 or 3 weeks coming into here. It's now happening, and it's pretty fan-damn-tastic as, oh my God, there we go. We are going into it. There's another chicken dinner winner for AMD as the market just continues to fall down. Neil, man, we talk about reading the board right, and we are definitely doing that one as AMD just comes right back in there, and we just cranked lower, got all the dem fills on the downside. We spinning them here today, guys. I hope you're having a good one.
Holy shnikes.
Yeah, that's right, baby. Let's go.
I just tried, I just canceled a bid. 800 exactly held on SMCI. The second I saw it do it, I attempted to throw a stop first because I didn't want to trade without a stop and then try and go long off the 800. By the time I was able to get the stop order in and bid, it was at 805. So this could be a little bit of a bounce play. I still think it might give you a chance to short some things back in, but SMCI is kind of the reason why we are down here. NVIDIA, don't like that entry point. ARM held 100. That could be something. I got out of ARM at the 100 level. If this bounces, this could give us a bounce into VWAP for some kind of a retracement play. But that was a pretty clean bounce off 800. Usually I'm expecting a stock that's fallen like that. It's not going to bounce unless it runs stops. I expected a break of $800 and then back up, which is an easier setup. As the Tesla gets back to the upside, I got out when it could not break down off this level. So you try to break this local bottom, which is actually 48.18. I said 148, but it's actually 148.18. Tried to break it, came back up. That's a trail out. I think I jump right back into this if it gets back to 151. So you're getting that curl to the upside. If SMCI is going to take us higher, I want to short these pops in a couple of other names. We have Intel. We want ARM back at VWAP-ish, and then we're going to go for, well, maybe we'll go for that breakout on NVIDIA if it gets back there again. It's a long ways away. I mean, it's actually $15 away from that break price, so probably not.
All right, where are we here? Let's take a little bit more short on Tesla just because we're feeling it. Look at AMD right now. You're starting to go lower. I mean, we were like, thank you, come again. We actually even based this trade out, and it's really working again for us here as AMD starts to go to the downside. So, yeah, you know, we're having a good day. Like, really good day. So far, 2 trades today. Short AMD, short Tesla. And now, all of a sudden, AMD is getting real damn spicy down here again at these levels, man. If you like your meatballs spicy today, then you're in the right spot right now. All right, so I'm going to actually, you know, it's a good day, like kind of when you're in like these chill modes, like we're doing right here. All right, so Tesla now goes back above 150, and we did blinked on that one. Okay, thank you so much, AMD. Just came back in again and gave us that. Tesla breaks. We got out of 75% of our position. We'll hold a little small piece here as it breaks back above 150. Still by far PL1, so we're happy with it. But we got to wait to see what happens now as the market is coming back in for Tesla. Back in,
SMCI
back up,
back down.
to the upside. Yeah, SMCI is back upside, and guess what, Neil?
NVDA broke the low of the day, too.
Another dollar club winner for everybody on AMD today. So, wow. This has been a great week. Great.
Absolutely has been. There hasn't been, I don't think there's been a momentum down day, although, I mean, every day is a little bit different. But momentum trading's been pretty solid. Oh, I already have a stop. Okay. I already have a stop for Intel. Don't need a second one. SMCI just broke the low. What are we able to get? And ARM breaks the low of the day, too. Now you're underneath that 100 level. I want to jump back into the short, but I need to see it test that low. They bought the crap out of this off of 99.5, so I want to short back into 100. I thought we'd get VWAP when SMCI bounced. Obviously, that didn't happen, so I'm going to jump back in. I want to short the pop here on ARM as it looks pretty nasty. Tesla's still trying to go higher, oddly enough, so I think we're going to have to. I mean, it's relatively strong on Tesla, which is a little bit surprising. I'm getting bids in front of the low of the day on Intel, so short every single pop and get bids at the low of the day. But it's ARM that I want back into. If ARM is going to hold underneath $100, I think you could do some nasty things here today. Everything is flushing. I don't think SMCI DJK is going to 500, but it is certainly leading the charge to the downside. What an absolute flush it has been. And again, you don't know what's going to happen. SMCI wasn't doing anything when we sat down this morning, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they didn't give the update that people were expecting, and you're down 15%, and that gives the juice to the shorts in the chip names. Let's go to the desk, or sorry, the screen, look at some small cap recap, because we haven't really been trading them.
Slightly positive day here right now for the Russell 2000, but the IWM making a little bit of a turn to the downside over the last 20 minutes or so. So a bit of a move potentially down for IWM right now. Lots of small cap names to talk about today. Alt Alliance is one of them, AULT on the Amex. This one trading higher after receiving a $44 million investment to date from Alton Companies under a 2023 securities purchase agreement from November. So there's some investment news here for AULT. Next up, we have Vertex Energy, VTNR. This one trading higher here on a two-day move from yesterday's announcement of some positive production numbers. They do have a short float of over 18%. Last but not least here, another heavily shorted name is going to be Nova Lifestyles, NVFY. Not seeing any news on this one, but nice move up on volume, short float of about 15% and a very small float, 1.33 million shares, guys.
Thank you very much there, Adara. And obviously, you're going to have a lot of things going to the downside, let's just say. Reddit's at the high of the day. It's up 3.5%. So it's actually holding the breakout off the 42 level and above VWAP. So this looks like it's, if you're looking for relative strength, this might be one of the places that you can find it, and you might just have to step outside of like the regular, what have you been trading all week. So VWAP looks pretty good here if it can hold on. DJT, I was saying, was not looking strong. Yeah, it's still cresting underneath VWAP here. So I want to look short on DJT. It failed at 38. I need to let it get back up in here to VWAP and maybe test above 35 if we're going to be patient with an entry. Shorting it at the bottom's not going to make any sense. But yeah, it's showing its, I don't want to say true colors, but it's showing relative weakness is the better way to put it here today.
All right, we've made a lot of money here on Tesla, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit anxious with it. So I went short again here. We're at the money now. I did put a bid, I think, here near 50 if it breaks. Okay, there it is. So we'll take out a little bit more. I'm playing with house money. We did get back into it, but I do understand that this is generally when I lose, is when I get like, oh my God, I feel like it's going down, but it's not. I have the right read, but I don't. That kind of talk. So I do have another bid pretty shallow here at 80s for Tesla. So hopefully it comes down in and fills that 80. We're at 86. there it is. We get it. So there it goes again, man. Face slap. Back and forth and back and forth. So we are multiples around here. And the thing is that you have to understand that when you like trading and names set up for you, those are go spots. So let's just see if we can find something else. Like that AMD trade, I feel like is almost a perfect example. We sat here and waited for it. We actually made a mistake. Other traders, right, might punch out immediately when something like this happens. We knew we wanted AMD. We actually took, remember I adjusted, so let's just say you went from 1,000 shares down to 500 shares, down to 200 shares, whatever. I thought we could initially have gotten a false break there. That is what happened. So we did put our shares down, which allowed me to do this. So again, sometimes it's just the little small decisions that you can't really quantify until it actually happens. So we are able to, thankfully, be able to put some money back, back in here and get that profit for AMD. Again, we only have 2 stocks today. And today, where's the, we'll go over there. Here we go today. You see Yannick in the back there? He's got his flow going on. You know you're a bad man when you're wearing sunglasses in the office, staring at computer screens. I mean, this man is serious over there. That yellow hat is also killer, making me look like a fool. Here goes Tesla all the way back down. And without any further ado, it's AD.
Not seeing any news on this one, but I wanted to point out Wells Fargo here, very strong on pretty good volume as well, up over 2%. I did see there's apparently some bullish options here, so some call options for Wells Fargo. Also a good amount of social media interest for this one as well, especially in the last 10 minutes or so. So WFC after earnings last week, very strong today, guys.
Wells, there was some big earnings, but at the end of the day, I mean, you're probably not trading the banks in today. But good luck if you are. I'm going to back off this 151. Tesla seems like it's curling at 150.5. And, watch out, NVIDIA. Only have so many charts up, but NVIDIA just made another. If this is a hammer candle reversal, you want to watch out for your chips. And again, this has been big time trend down. Let me just double check because I'm in ARM and I'm only in chip names right now. Yeah, SMCI is actually holding underneath $800, but it's trying to make a little bit of a bounce here as well. So if there is a reversal coming in, do not want to get trapped at the bottom. I might tighten my stop. I have it at 50s on ARM. I don't want to move it just yet. We haven't talked anything about Bitcoin, but I look over and Bitcoin has moved $800 from the last time I checked it when the market opened, and Coinbase has dropped $7 in that time. So Coinbase is taking it on the chin and about to go red. I guess this is kind of like DJT. There's not going to be a breakout to be had. I said if we held 65,000, one of the ideas I liked was a potential breakout trade on Coinbase. But you know what? Just because that was a condition that would have put me in a long trade, if it doesn't happen, I got to look for something else. So VWAP retracement will be in play for this name. Breakouts that we're looking for pretty much, they're all dead. I can't get short Rivian at 9. Doesn't really matter. So you just have to stick to, what's working. ARM is still down around that 99 level. I want to bid 99s and then see how far it can go. But this could be one of these trades where if 99 breaks, you're looking at the 95 right quick. That's just the way the stock has been. So watch out for, I think, SMCI and NVIDIA. They're what's moving the chips as we speak. Tesla, I might move a little further away from the 151. That's the only adjustment I want to make here. It just seems like it's not quite getting there. It's strong, but I don't want to be too early on a move, and I haven't gotten back into this. It was a decent out to get out, but remember something. Like my style of trading is typically that I'm taking it from station to station, so that only looks good the days that it doesn't flush down to 146, which is plenty of them. And I know that. I know that for the way that I trade, I'm going to miss out on a lot of moves like that so I can capture this one and reload. So it is what it is. Like I said, like Sean says, stay in your lane sometimes. There's a note on, it doesn't really matter. There's some small news coming out on TSM, but it's really just like a continuation. I know we haven't checked them out, but yikes. Intel reports next week, and they haven't had a bunch of good reports. If this is what's happening now to the chips, what happens when they talk about how much money they're not making?
Exactly.
Like that's like think about this. Remember TSM actually had good earnings, okay? I'm just laying that out there. Intel reports in 1 week. You know, I'm just gonna say this now. I actually told Sharif this. I had sold Intel. I had covered calls that failed me. There wasn't an intentional sell that was like last year, but it was profitable, but it was covered calls, and they got called away. And then I sold some Intel at 50, and I was gonna put that money back in at 30. I'm not doing it. And you know where I put that money? I was like, oh, could I put it in SMH? Maybe. Could I put it in the Qs? I've been buying the Qs already. No. It was something that you and Brendan said on the podcast. Check out the podcast when you can. Saturdays, well, Sundays if you want. Doesn't really matter when you listen to it.
Check it out now, last week's.
Exactly. Check out last week's. This was actually not the one you taped. This is the one from last week.
Yeah.
No, but it was when you said you were talking about the diamonds. I was like, wait a minute. I don't know where I want to buy Boeing again. I don't know where I want to buy Intel again. I want to park that money in an index till I know what I want to do with it. Why not the diamonds? And so I put it into the diamonds.
There we go.
And I wouldn't have normally done that. I would have just slapped it into the Qs like I always do.
Yeah, so hopefully we're providing some entertainment and some random advice.
It makes you think of something. It's like something new that just makes something sparks in your brain. You hear a topic or a stock or an idea that you wouldn't have thought about, and then suddenly you have that opportunity to have it matter to you. It's not about like listen to everything somebody says. It's just what can you learn from it, right? Like I think that's the value of the pod.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to be doing lots of stuff with the podcast.
And then we'll be able to pay, I'm telling them, then we'll be able to pay for the heat in here.
Yeah, the heat will be good. I don't have to have freezing hands. I think that would be really fun to be able to have that. What's up, Red 101 on everybody else?
Red 1?
Yeah, Red 1 is in the chat right now. So shout out to Red 1 and everybody else. Look, guys, just in these two trades, we're like, multiples up here today. Like, it just takes these couple trades. So this has been, again, hands off for right now. Goolsby is now speaking. It's 10:30. And again, today is one of those days. I'll leave it at that. I hope you guys can sort of, be able to pick up on body language and the way that I'm talking and we're talking. Today is and I'll just speak for myself, like a very, very, very good day. So, and for everybody, I mean, every day that we're able here to trade. Goolsby speaking right now, but it is time to go over to the desk. It's 10:30. Let's go speak over with Miss Adara.
One comment from Fed's Goolsby just coming out now here is that it makes sense to wait to get more clarity before moving rates. He just started speaking at 10:30, so I will let you know if we hear anything else of note. Of course, it is worth mentioning the main story for crypto right now is going to be that Bitcoin halving expected tomorrow, April 20th. But also interesting note here with regards to Ethereum and ARK Invest, Cathie Wood's firm there, buying some Ethereum or adding to some Ethereum positions here. So ARK W adding both Pro Shares Ether strategy, about almost $3 million worth of shares and almost $1 million worth of shares of this ARK 21 shares active Ethereum ETF. So basically, Cathie Wood loading up some Ethereum ETFs for her ETF. So nice look there for Ethereum and Cathie Wood. We have Bitcoin here trying to make this is the 15-minute chart here. So we had a little bit of a slump here trying to get back above that 64. Earlier today, though, well above 65,000. So interesting, lots of movement here to talk about. We had that drop much lower below 60s, now trying to recover. So Bitcoin in a bit of a state of flux amidst geopolitical tensions and ahead of its halving coming up here. A lot of these other crypto names, crypto-related names, pretty positive here. Solana up about 3%. We have Cardano up 2.33%. Lots of nice positivity here as all of these other crypto names wait for this Bitcoin halving. It'll be interesting to see how those impact those names. And we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. You can sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders. Just use the code TTV, capital letters, and you can actually use the link in the description to go to checkout.
It's always Blue Ocean.
All right. Yeah, shout out there. As Neil was just looking at some Chinese names there that we haven't really looked at today. Yeah, what's good with Alibaba?
Alibaba. So, okay, first of all, let me start here because I'm already on the Pinduoduo chart. Because Pinduoduo is at the low of the day, so that's what's kind of important. The market's weak. Pinduoduo is at the low. Alibaba, on the other hand, is holding VWAP. Now, understandably, if you're skeptical until it breaks out of the 69, I wouldn't disagree with you. But if we do get a reversal, BABA 69, red to green, when it's at here on the, look at what the daily chart looks like on Alibaba. So for, like, again, I'm still in the same 2 shorts, but whatever, they happen to be working. So if you're, the daily looks like a wick down potential breakout. So it's setting up a reversal pattern on the daily. It's strong relative to a peer and its peers, I mean the market as well. It's holding VWAP. It has an obvious breakout level. There's a couple of ways to play this. You can scalp off VWAP. You can take a 69 break if it does work to the upside. Lots of opportunities there. And I see you in the chat, DJK. BABA is super cheap. I know, but it's been super cheap for a long time on a valuation basis. And that has, I feel like that hasn't been the reason to buy the stock for a while. It's a reason to buy the stock, but simply it being cheap has done nothing for it in the long term. Believe me, I know. I'm 0 for 2 swing trading Alibaba, and I'm not swing trading anymore. I think it's a long-term play or it isn't. Like, if you believe it's cheap, then you should be holding it for the long term, which is what I've shifted to.
So like I still have, like, I came in here today with like a blaring headache, and there was a chance that I was thinking like I wasn't feeling well, and you're gonna have Obi in this seat here today, but I feel fine, but I still got a headache, so I don't know what's up with that. But you know what? If we're gonna do this every single day, then I'm hopefully gonna have a headache every day. Oh my God. There you go, just dropped my pen. We are very, very much now, just to let everybody know, I'm in cruise control right now. It's Friday. I want to have some good vibes into the weekend. We've already talked about what we've done to this market here today. You know, it's not the easiest day out here. There's like 3 or 4 positive traders, but that doesn't matter. You got to wait for the opportunities. And I just think right now, although I want to go short, I'm not sure the opportunity is here yet for that. So I'm just going to basically rest on laurels now, wait to see if there's anything going on in this market, and wait for another pop-up. So we are still in about 30% of this Tesla trade here. I mean, look what I'm talking about right now. I'm sitting in these trades, and we're just ticking up. We're just stink face. You know, so let's just stay in the short.
830.
I mean, we talked about it. I broke down
800.
Yeah, Nvidia's hitting 700. I broke down this AMD trade with you guys at 152. It's now $1.50 in the money right now. I mean, you guys want to talk about education and all that stuff? You guys want me to do an education segment? I mean, there's so much here every day. We break it down for you live. You know, these are live breaking down of trades, not like cherry picking or anything like you've seen some other stations do. Oh, this is what I would do if this happened. How about breaking something down as it's happening? Not like, oh, looking back and reviewing trades that we don't even have. You know, I think that's important when you make mistakes and victories. You look back and you review your trades. But actually, and this is the hardest part about trading, it's actually putting the trades on when you're in the fire, right? And so that's part of what sparked what we're doing right here, is to show that there is, you know, capabilities of actually sitting here putting on trades that are somewhat profitable and can be done while educating at the same time. So that's what we're doing right here. I hope you like and subscribe to all of that. And so let me do that first, and then we'll get to the real reason why everybody's here. Come on, AMD, bring it down, as well as Tesla, bring it all down. Why everyone here is they want to know what's for lunch.
I peaked already.
All right, thank you so much, Brad Gober. I mean, we only have. I'll take the GOAT comment. That is fine, but realistically, we also have this. Where is the guy? He's not even here right now, so shout out to him.
Probably in the meeting
It's
somewhere.
Brendan. But right now, we are $2 in the money on AMD. We are $1 in the money on Tesla. These are all reloaded positions, and we're 10x. Look at Tesla right now. Tesla downside right here. But what is for lunch is, again, if you're here, then you have chicken dinner winners on your plate. That is for sure. Bye-bye, Tesla. I should be bidding Tesla here. Oh, I am. 149.05. Let's see if Tesla comes into that level. But you know what? We don't need 149.05, although we're going to get it. Let's just punch out right there at 10s. Ring that damn register right there for another profitable trade. We are now out of Tesla there at 105. We'll just hold AMD, as this looks like it wants to go lower as well. All right, what's for dinner? It's Cajun Country. Cajun Country roasted chicken. It's like, it's Cajun Country, baby. Roasted chicken leg. with red-skinned potatoes.
Ooh.
And then sweet, sweet, sweet peaches and cream corn. I will be stealing.
Peaches and
Not stealing. I mean,
it's a good song.
I'm pretty much paying for it. The food today, that corn we will take. But I'm hoping for tuna on the salad. I will take Fabian's corn. Thank you, Ramin.
That's fair.
That is fair.
I
So-
heard Adara say she's scared. What are you scared of, Adara? Scared of peaches and cream corn. To each their own. I'm not going to steal from anybody because I think there'll be some leftovers on the other side, so I will go that route.
There will be tons.
There's usually some, and I have no problem with peaches and cream corn because that
the best.
sounds. Okay, I'm not going to curse. It's delicious. Let's just leave it at that. It is absolutely delicious. The shorts it's getting nasty out there in the market. The only thing that didn't just break a recent low when I look up is SMCI, but that was already down 14%. ARM just took 98s. This is continuing to flush. Now, obviously, in the moment, I looked like an idiot when I sold at 122. I was only an idiot for a month and a half when I made a fresh high. But that stock it sucks. SMCI is holding out. At least it's trying to hold out the bottom. NVIDIA just made a fresh low. It's trying to bounce off 815. I think, if you look at where the bottoms could be, NVIDIA's now lost. I mean, it already lost the 50-period moving average, but it's lost the support that was at 834. And this will be tough to see because of the wicks. It's like 770 is like the next actual somewhat level on NVIDIA were it to get down there. So it is getting, like we said, pretty nasty in chip land. At least most things, anyways.
Yeah, getting nasty? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Unless you're Reddit today, I mean, what's up?
I just want to, even on here, for Tesla is, like I was saying, probably, what was that? We'll discuss when we get back from the watch of sectors with Adara.
Also, just worth noting for the market as a whole, Fed's Goolsbee saying that the golden path is going to be more difficult for 2024 and just basically saying they're going to have to wait to move rates until they get data that's moving in the right direction, saying housing data is particularly of concern. So some notes with regards to Fed's Goolsbee that might provide some insight on that move down we just had in the last few minutes in the market. A bit of a move down for a lot of these tech names as well here. Most of the Mag 7, if not all of the Mag 7, trading to the downside here. Meta and NVIDIA notably weak here. Meta and Apple both on watch with regards to that story coming out of China, with some of Meta's WhatsApp and Threads being removed from the App Store in China over some security concerns. So interesting note there, both of those names to the downside. In terms of upside moves, though, finance sector generally pretty strong. Health technology, some strong names here as well. Energy minerals amidst this geopolitical conflicts. We do have some moves up in some of these energy names. Health services, utilities, transportation, with the exception of Uber, also all pretty strong. And communications moving to the upside here. And VZ Verizon on watch with its earnings before market open. On Monday, guys.
So you'll see. Okay, there you go. I actually just trailed out of ARM, so we're just in the Intel trade. It bounced off that 98 at the same time as. Whoops, that was an SMCI chart that I wanted to be able to show you guys. At the same time as this was happening on SMCI, these are both 3-minute charts, but higher low back through 800. So I put a trailing stop in if it couldn't hold, and we got out. Now remember, the last time I trailed out of this thing, I was getting back in underneath. So, if you think about it, you give up. Well, okay, technically I took more shares here, but the point of the trade is technically I take more shares here, but the point is I give up about 30 cents by getting out there on a trail and then getting back in there. But if it's going to trend up, at some point I'm looking back to VWAP, which is conveniently at $100 now. But SMCI has been the vehicle, and it's now showing signs of bouncing. If it gets to VWAP, then we can have something for a patient reload. So let's let it settle back down. The NASDAQ's still at the lows, but SMCI is trying to make a bit of I guess it's a dead cat bounce because it's down. It was down 14 or 15%. So I'll call that a dead cat bounce pretty much every single day. So nastiness, but I want to take some shorts only back into VWAP where we can get it. And then another name, which I did say I would take a shot at 165 on Apple, and then I talked myself out of it. It's trying to put a higher low off of 165 now. It would have been a good failed break on Apple. Down 1%. It's showing some signs of making a bottom as well.
All right. We're $2 in the money on AMD. We did put another trade on at 149 break of Tesla. Yeah, my hands are freezing, so I'm just chilling out right now. But yeah, ask me anything you guys want there in the chat, if there's anything at all you guys want, because I mean, I'm gonna stay on the same thing here. I've only traded 2 names today, and it's really paying off. My focus, everything like that is starting to pay off, so I'm not going to throw money away here on names that I don't think are setting up for anything. Let me just check in on Uber again, because I thought Uber was pretty low in and around 70. Now we're at $69. Wow, I got to unzoom this. Wow, yeah, I mean, you know, it ain't Intel, but it's falling. $82 into 70 right now, into some sort of a base. I like Uber for sure. They added to the S&P 500. I think it was 6 or 7 quarters now in a row. EBITDA, good name there. Reminds me of the other name that I like on dip buys here. I'm not ready to buy anything yet. I still think that there's more to come here. If Netflix can be down, what was down 7, we haven't looked at this at all today, still down 7, you know, I am a little nervous for what's coming there right here. Okay, here's some questions. Hey, what's up, Dan? I mean, congratulations, Dan. You saw me tweet that out last night. And you guys know that I've been bearish, and speaking confidently. I feel like that's the one thing that I'm trying to do and doing more and better for everybody is like showing you the trades, hitting them with share size, and then letting you know when, you know, we've won and when we've lost on these. And then, you know, how much where are we? All right, so Dan Emmons, here's some people tagging me in the chat. So talk about Amazon earnings. Sure, we could do a little bit of that too, Paula. How do I feel on Palantir? I take Drake every day over Kendrick. It's not even close. How fast do the Leafs go out in the playoffs? Well, they start tomorrow.
Come on, son.
I hope that the Leafs can at least go to the second round, deal with hopefully Florida at that point. But we have to get some, get rid of some of those exercise those demons against Boston.
You got the hockey hat on today.
You know, exactly.
It's around here. It's like if you're in Toronto, it's a party when the Leafs are in the playoffs, and it's all about how long that party is going to last. And you don't want to look past the next round. That's history has taught me that as a Toronto fan. Forget about the Leafs. Just a fan of Toronto teams. Don't look past the current opponent, no matter how good your team has looked. They got to get past Boston first. Sebastian, if you're looking for nicknames, man, everyone calls, it's weird, like our high school friends call me, like I don't have like a professor nickname. Someone had that one time in high school, but they call me DJ, and which is weird because I've never been one. Randy is a DJ around here. But I'm out of Intel. It broke that 3480. I'm on the offer right now of ARM at 100. Chart? If you come for a second. Yeah, there we go. Chart once. We broke here, I jumped out of Intel, so I'm gonna go red on it because I was pretty aggressively holding this consolidation, and I'm gonna wait. Because if it's either the breakdown here flushes to 34, or it gets back up to 35.20, right? Like there's that short that you look for at VWAP that breaks down, or there's this short that you wait for it to go another. That's almost a full 1% for Intel. It's a $30 stock. For it to go 30 cents from here to the next level, that's 1%. So I'm going to let it get there. As far as ARM goes, I will look for the 100 retrace. Tesla is approaching 151. Yes? No? Yeah, it's getting close. So it's getting close to that 151. We'll see if we can run that one more time in there. DJT's trying to break VWAP. If I short this, I want to make sure it's on the curl of DJT. This is trending down, but still actually up 3% to its credit.
Yeah, we're giving, being that impatient trader that we mentioned that we potentially were being, we're going to have to hope that Tesla comes back down and get out of a little bit. I'm just going to hold this to 150.50. I mean, that's the 50-period moving average or so right here on the 20, and it is this high. We should have just waited for this. I mean, Neil was right, like saying, is it near 151? We should have waited to get a little bit more in.
151 to warm me up
at
this,
now. Yeah, exactly. At this level. So we'll wait. And we will figure it out what happens here with Tesla. See if we can get a little bit out here if it does fall back in before breaking 150.50. So halfway through, we're going to get out of this one, and we'll take the dollar hit. on this. So again, we'll wind up probably giving back about like 20-25% of what we made, which is way too much. So that's why I'm trying to get something. That's if it breaks, and it looks like it might do that. Let's see if Tesla just has one more push back in here. We don't have as many. We don't have nearly as many shares as we had done before. So still, losing trade is a losing trade. We don't want to have any of those on board. Look at that. It just resisted 150 there again. So I don't know. Maybe there's a buyer here. We'll take some out. We just got 04 there. We'll take some out as it falls back in. So a 50-cent hit is much better than a $1 hit. So we'll take out 20% there. See if we fall back in. I have another bid in the 80s in case we fall. And then we'll see about trying to let the rest of it roll through. So right now, Tesla in trouble a little bit on this short. Market making a move right back up to the 50-period moving average. So yeah, right now, let's not give back this day. And we're not. So getting some out here on Tesla. Now that I talk like this, I'm going to take another piece out right there. All right, I'm going to cancel my 80s. We just took an 05 or 06. Let's see if Tesla falls back in. Our average price, remember, was 50. So we'll see what happens here with Tesla. Hands off, man. And let's see if we can get it down to the downside.
Yeah, it's like hands off the steering wheel. I didn't get
going
this
in full self-drive.
Full self-drive-ish, right?
Yeah, like, with Tesla.
Because you still got to be in the car. It's
I'm just gonna be like this,
but,
just chilling out like we're doing right now.
Actually, you know what's interesting?
Take me to Starbucks.
I've seen some people in their Teslas, which you're supposed to be attentive when you're doing it. I've driven past
oh yeah,
whatever.
Of course.
And they're very, very chill. And I'm just saying, if I don't have a Tesla, if I had one, I would not be that chill. Like it's just no. Like I would not be doing all this just because you have like the full self-drive on. Like I'm sure it's fantastic, and I can't experience it. One of these days, I should ask my neighbor about it. They just got a Tesla across the street. There's a bunch in my neighborhood, but like literally across the street, they got one. I just can't do that. Like I like to be in control when I have the ability to be in control, or at least be ready to go. I did not get filled at 99.75 on ARM, and I'm trying not to be impatient here, but see what it's doing? Like it's giving a consolidation, which could be a trap to short it down here. All right, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna wait. It's 10.50. That's not the time to compromise on price. What we shouldn't compromise on is the opportunity to go to the desk for money talks.
DXY looking like it's trying to break below the shelf of 106 that we've rested on the last few days. Decidedly moving to the downside here is the US dollar. Not a lot of data at all on the horizon for today, but we did have some comments from Fed's Goolsbee saying that the golden path is going to be a little bit more difficult for 2024 and that it will take longer to get inflation down to the 2% goal, though Fed's Goolsbee said that he expects it to happen in a reasonable amount of time, saying that there's been more success in the employment mandate than there has been on the inflation mandate. So only Fed speaker on the horizon today. Just some notes here coming from Fed Goolsbee. Interesting as well, next week, the earlier parts of the week's first 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a little bit lighter on data and Fed speakers. But then on Thursday, we get the preliminary quarterly GDP number. And then Friday, we get the PCE print. So Thursday and Friday, some key inflation data to keep an eye on ahead of the next Fed decision meeting in less than 2 weeks on May 1st.
Come on, Tesla. Tesla's working, man. Here it comes. All right. I see you. A little bit of a move down here. I don't know if it's going to be. Someone had a good point there. Where was it? Here. What's up to Anthony G? Yeah, the 0-day trade options are definitely play effects at these key levels, and that's. I mean, it's a good point for sure, but it's also. I mean, something that we are well aware of. I mean, that's exactly why. Most of the time, I'm looking for trades around key levels. I sit here and I talk all the time about this is an optionable level. You've heard me say things like that, and the 0-day has even made them more important. So you are dead right about that one. Shout out to you, Anthony, and shout out to Adair, who's got something over there.
Yeah, another comment here from Fed Goolsbee coming in worth noting. So when asked about a possibility of a rate hike, his response was, don't think anything's not on the table. So basically what happened here is as Fed Goolsbee putting a potential rate hike on the table if needed, don't think anything's not on the table with regards to rate hikes, says Fed Goolsbee.
I mean, okay, like that's just...
I just can't wait till he says he's data dependent.
Yeah, no, but that's basically the same thing. Like it's you're
exactly.
It's the way in which you evade the ways in which you evade the question. And kudos to them for being loosely creative about the ways that they'll evade questions. And that's what I appreciated about Powell when he got asked about the You got asked about trade, which he can't comment on. You know he can't comment, so he made a joke. It's like, okay, fine. Instead of always giving us an answer that doesn't tell us something, make light of it. And that was pretty cool of him. And plus the joke was a compliment to Canada because he said, we have a very important export, and that is comedians. And we got some great ones. We're at 64.7 on Bitcoin as I look over. If you see me do that, I look at Sean's screen right there for Bitcoin. And the reason I'm saying that is because Coinbase just bounced $7, which is not nothing. That's a good 3%. It's into VWAP. This would be the area for patient retrace. ARM doesn't look like it wants to give me a fill anywhere close to 100 right now. So this looks like it could be the next thing. I want it to press higher, but I'm keeping an eye on Bitcoin. I want to see Bitcoin kind of make a top as well before I look for that curl. And I can look at it in IBIT, but it's nice to, IBIT's great, but sometimes you want to see the actual spot price at a key flat level, like 65,000.
As we get ready to leave you guys here, we're going to go to the midday show, and you'll learn all about trading, education, and stuff like that. And you'll be able to see Sharif and Adair kill the markets with their trades as well. But the idea here would be for me to try to stay net short. But we are getting a little excited here because the market is trying to head to VWAP, which is interesting. I think that would be like a TQQ short. So I've talked to Adara about the TQs and the SQs. We'll see which one she chooses and pick your poison either way, man. The same thing, a triple levered ETF right now. Yeah, just looking, actually there isn't really too much here. I mean, you could short VWAP, which would be fine. I mean, it actually makes sense because you're right into that level. I just, in the middle of the day, it's not that you can get caught offside. I don't mean the word offside. It's just the market could get right now. Like, see all these wicks that are high wicks here? They just keep on failing and back in, failing. Like all of these high wicks are on red candles. You know, it's like tries to get back up and then the sellers just hit it down and then that winds up closing red. So like this is kind of some of the stuff that I've been doing, looking at things like this, you know, trying to stick my neck out a little bit on making calls for everybody. And today we're going to go 2 for 2. Hopefully we'll end the show without an LFT because we're 80 cents in the money right now on AMD. And although Tesla, we took a hit right here for sure. We talked about that. I'm still waiting to make that back. If we get to 149.50, then we've made it all back because we take out part of it there for 50-cent hit, and then if we can get it back in right now, then we'll be close enough to make, well, we'll make it all back because we still have 60% of the position. So here it comes back in. Let's see if we get a lower take. We're now flat on Tesla and looking for lower right there. So thank you, Sebastian, for that. I mean, you know, amazing knowledge. I'm just sitting here as an average dude talking about all this stuff, which is why I'm feel very, very blessed that we've now done, it's our 23rd podcast. And we've done 20 in a row, Brendan and I, and we're very, very proud of what we've been able to do. So make sure that you guys do hit the like and the subscribe, and definitely check that podcast out tomorrow when it drops. And here comes Tesla. I hope, I hope we can get this fill. We are bidding in the 50s right here. Here it is pulling back in for Tesla. I hope we talked a little bit about, you know, some of our confidence in holding this. But again, this could be a spot where you may want to take some out as we did get a nice move back up to the upside. I'm bidding 50s. So if that comes, that'd be good. So just a couple more pennies and we'll be able to get this fill. Needs a couple more than that. See, when I see stuff like this, I start to be like, oh, I might not get the fill, but guess what? Rubber band, man. We've got this right there, right now. So shout out to everybody, man, leaving you guys on a high note. This is exactly what we're doing. See what I mean? Again, we can teach and do at the same time. We sat here, we worked you guys through AMD, broke down trades. We worked through Tesla, broke down trades. This is all live. You know, so there is not another channel that will do this for you live, breaking down these trades where you can actually see the fills in and out. 2 trades today, 2 bangers. It's a big day. And yeah, 10:58, Neil. Kill him with kindness here into the close.
Yeah, we got to. It's one of those days where you're having a lot of fun. If the Leafs do what has happened on the show today, Boston's not going to stand a chance. You know what's weird? I used to be able to name a few players on every team. I actually can't name a guy in Boston. Believe it or not. I know they have a couple of good guys, but it always slips my head. I wanted to trash talk one of them. What I will say is, weirdly enough, The Austin Matthews of crypto names today is not Coinbase, which I just showed pop off $7. I want to leave you with this. Mara's at the high of the day when Bitcoin's underneath 65,000. I always talk about relative strength and weakness. It's kind of a theme around here with terms of what you're trading. But this is much stronger than what I see out of, I'm going to pull up IBIT because that's the chart that I have. We're rolling over at VWAP. If we break 65,000 today, I think Mara's the one. And I was looking at Coinbase I actually said Coinbase would have been my breakout trade today. But I'm going to pivot to what the market is telling me, and the market's telling me that Mara is the one that looks a little bit stronger here. So you're up. Everyone said the halving was going to be bad for them, but they already got cut in half. That's already happened. So let's see if this one can break it out the top. I also like Micron at VWAP. That was a new one. So if you see me pop into Micron at about 109.50 or so, that's underneath VWAP. And ARM 100, we'll go back to that one if ARM even gets to 100 again. But that's not even a guarantee at this particular point. So Mara, kind of a new stock we're looking at. Looks like a 16 even break if we get above 65,000 on Bitcoin, which we've been hanging around pretty much all morning long. I just feel if we're not breaking underneath on Bitcoin when the market's dying, then we can maybe retake that 65,000. If that happens, I'm shifting from Coinbase to Mara breakout.
Here we go. Hopefully we get a drop down in AMD right now. There's only 20 seconds left. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Ramin, working wonders by herself today. So thank you so much to Ramin. A big shout out to Adara, killing it as per usual. Shout out to Brendan behind us. Shout out to Ty. Big shout out to Bears versus Bulls. Probably we don't say that enough. And a big shout out to everybody today that once again, man, thank you for supporting the Sticky Note. I'll keep doing it for you. Now AMD is now $1.50 in the money. Tesla's trying to come back. It's been a hell of a day. Without any further ado, Mr. Sharif is over here as well. He's ready to rock and roll, looking more handsome than ever. It's Sharif, it's Adara, it's Midnight Madness. I ain't going anywhere either. See ya.
Yo, 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 what is up, beautiful people? Happy Friday to everyone. Couldn't be